Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. I am your host, Kieran Stewart, and today we have a full house. We've got our usual scouts and a special guest today. It is Roshane Thomes, West Ham correspondent of the Athletic. He's giving it the irons. He's giving it the irons. He's giving it that. Gotta love that. Let's even this up a bit. And let's say hello to everyone. Sitting next to me tonight, it's the chef. How you doing, Simon Powell?
All right, evening everyone. Welcome, Roshane.
And on my right is the marksman, Jerome Marks. How you doing, Jerome?
Evening, guys. Yeah, all good, thanks.
On the bottom right, we've got our chief scout, Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
All right, Kieran. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
And as I've said already, our special guest tonight, West Ham correspondent of The Athletic, it's Roshane Thomes. Look, Roshane, I'm trying to get in some special effects so I can do like cheers and stuff like that, claps, fireworks, all that. I ain't got the budget for that yet, but by the time you come on next time, we will have that, especially for you, mate. Don't worry about that.
No worries at all. It sounds like the budget similar to West Ham transfer this season.
Do
So.
you know what? I've sent scouts out all over the place. They've come back with nothing when it comes to West Ham transfer rumours. Absolutely nothing. Are you going to tell me any different tonight?
Oh, hope so, pal. Hope so.
All right. Let's get going. All right. Who we got in the comments section? No one. That's disappointed me, people.
Wow, I thought Goodwin a bit top.
No. They're there. They're just being quiet tonight, Si. They're a bit shy. You know what I mean? That will soon change once we start talking football. All right. So tonight it's a West Ham special. And we're going to talk about the season just gone. We're going to talk about transfers, players they may be getting in, what they need, a few dramas around the club, and going on to next season, predictions for that. So the league started off with a loss, but it was the champions, Man City. And then after that, there was a nice little run, which could have a lot of the fans feeling that there was progression on the previous season. But then after that, the loss of maybe Lucas Fabianski completely turned around your season to the point where your manager got the sack, you got a new manager in. How detrimental, Roshane, was the loss of Lucas Fabianski then?
Oh, big time. It was a turning point in last season because obviously he suffered that thigh injury, the game against Bournemouth. And immediately he was thinking, oh, no, please be fine. Please be fine. Don't be injured. But then obviously he came off and Roberto replaced him. Roberto, known as that garbage goalkeeper. I'm saying it. Absolute garbage goalkeeper. I mean, for me, the worst memory of Roberto was that game against Burnley where he punched it into his own net.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who on earth punches the ball into the own net and your goal? That was so disrespectful. So that happened. And yeah, as I say, it was a turning point because the team were looking good, keeping clean sheets, doing well. Obviously, you mentioned the 5-0 opening defeat against Man City. And fans are like, oh no, here we go again, doom and gloom. But as I mentioned, went on that run, you're thinking, good challenge for Europa League here because that has something to build on. And then, Fabianski gets injured, and then, in my opinion, the team never recovered.
But do you feel that it was a fair to see the manager go when you're putting it down to the goalkeeper, a very integral part of your team, being out for such a long time?
Yes, for the simple fact that Pellegrini was just so stubborn, stuck in his ways. Even when Roberto was playing garbage, he still kept him in the team. When you had someone like David Martin, who could have been brought in much earlier, and when David Martin made his debut against Chelsea, he kept a clean sheet. And what was so hilarious about that match is Roberto was on the bench, and every time David Martin kept making a save, West Ham fans are going crazy. They're like, "Oh my, David Martin's making a save! Hallelujah! A goalkeeper can make a save. This is brilliant." And then that's when the talk came about we have a chance, Martin's in goal. And then even that match itself was really good because he kept a clean sheet. His dad was in the press box. He embraced after. It was such a beautiful moment, and that's all down to Pellegrini thinking, okay, let's finally get rid of Roberto here. But ultimately, it was too late. As I mentioned, he was really stubborn. I mean, I have a story that I always mention. There was one press conference when I was running really late. Like if I was were to get public transport, I would have been late by about half an hour. So I got an Uber and it cost me about, I think, £35. But I just had to do it because I would have been late. when I tell you, it's probably the worst press conference I've ever been to. Like, it's just a waste of time.
You asked for your money back.
It wasn't even worth asking for money back. It was that bad. And the thing is, that was Pellegrini's press conference. It was just so bland. You try your hardest to like build a rapport with him, and it just wouldn't work. So when he was eventually sacked, it was, in my opinion, the right decision.
So, from my understanding, when Pellegrini first got the job, there was a few sort of people weren't too sure whether it was the right man in charge to take the job in the first place. They felt that him going to China was kind of his retirement plan, and then coming back, it's a bit of an uphill struggle to get that motivation again. But he kind of proved everyone wrong. So, was the turnaround? Was it needed? Could he have sort of brought in a different goalkeeper in the January transfer window? Was it definitely the end of the line?
Yeah, definitely the end of the line. Definitely. I mean, put it this way, I was contemplating boycotting this press conference because it just wasn't worth attending anymore. And as I mentioned, it just reached a point where things just got stale under Pellegrini. You're playing the same team week in, week out, and you're asking him, hey, you're going to play young players. He wasn't doing that. He was kept playing Haller up front, and he was Sebastian Haller, that is, and he was struggling. And obviously, I know the board spent a lot of money on the Pellegrini and Mario Silos, who was the director of football at the time, but it was the wrong personnel. Obviously, with hindsight now, we know they spent way too much money on Sebastian Haller, 45 million. I mean, he's an alright striker, but definitely not worth that much. Felipe Anderson's gone, regressed. Hardly been any money spent on defenders. Right now, West Ham's have an imbalanced team, way too many attacking players, hardly any good defenders. And that's been left over from what was considered meant to be a good team under Pellegrini. So, all in all, he just had to go. Like, the team weren't playing for him anymore.
Yeah.
And had he stayed, I reckon West Ham would have been relegated. That's how bad it was. So.
Oh, really? That bad?
Yeah, it was that bad. Honestly, the style of football was just bland. It was really bad. It really was.
I was going to say, Steve, how did you feel West Ham season went from outside of you?
Well, it was at the beginning. It was, there was so much excitement around West Ham. I mean, obviously, I'm a East End boy. All my friends are East Enders, and all my family's from the East End, and most of them are West Ham supporters. So there was a massive excitement over at the beginning of the season. They finished well the season before. There was an excitement, and as you said, they started off very well, and there was amongst the fans a real sort of buzz, around the fans. I mean, I was involved and in the middle of it every day, literally. It just all turned, like Roshane's already said. I think they went 9 losses in 12 games. Which leave them off. I think they left them like 1 point off the relegation zone at one point, and then they got to a point where you had to make a change again, like Roshane's just said, and then came in David Moyes. I mean, the vibe I got from West Ham was that once Moyes come in, there was sort of like. There was quite a split, on whether he should be or whether he shouldn't be. But I think the majority of the West Ham connoisseurs were just, got to a point where they thought, well, David Moyes, he can keep us up. He won't send us down. And I think that in the end, it sort of, in the end, when I was talking to people, family, friends, it was like that. It ended up like the successful season was them staying up, but there was so many different things going on. I don't know what happened to Felipe Anderson when the season before he was absolutely brilliant, and then all of a sudden that season I just don't know what happened. I mean, I'd like to ask Roshane, what he felt, happened to Felipe Anderson from being 1 year from sort of being nearly world class to sort of, the following season being a disaster, basically, wasn't he?
That honestly is $1 million question. It really is. I think we're still trying to figure out what on earth happened to him. What on earth happened to him? So much so that the club have been trying to sell him this summer and have no luck. Felipe Anderson and Manuel Lanzini. Hence why, obviously, we'll get into it, but hence why Green will sacrifice. And the thing about Lanzini, obviously, as you mentioned, his first year, he was good. He was good, doing good things on the left flank and number 10 in a row. But my goodness, what a fall from grace that second season. Just so terrible. Just whenever he's on the pitch, just ineffective. After lockdown, really got me frustrated. Anderson, because he had no contribution whatsoever. Just whenever he was brought on, body language is terrible. And I remember one game in particular, the Chelsea match I mentioned, and Pellegrini took off Anderson. I can't remember who came on the place of him, and he was angry for coming off. And like you're thinking, like, mate, you've done nothing throughout this whole match. Like, why are you angry for coming off? Yeah. And again, like, you've got to be a team player. The team were winning. Like, you've got to be happy if they ever come in and places you. So, yeah, we're still trying to figure out what on earth happened. But in my opinion, I don't think Anderson will be a West Ham player come the end of the window.
That's if someone takes him off your hands. Well, that's the only problem.
I beg and pray someone takes.
I think what it is with Felipe Anderson, the saving grace that you've got is the fact that he was so good the previous season and he was good in Italy. So he's got good pedigree, he's got good stock from back then.
It's only in patches. Like rarely will Anderson put together like a good string of games and play consistent. When you think about like the Brazilians in the Premier League, the likes of Willian, Felipe Coutinho was at Liverpool, Richarlison at Everton, players like that who have a big like parts to play in my team's progress. You can't really say the same about Anderson, barring that 1 year, and that 1 year was good, but he wasn't consistent if you really look at it. So
yeah, you know what it is. You know what it is though. With Anderson and players like him, he's obviously got a lot of ability. So isn't that where like a manager comes into play to try and get them to be at that level of consistency? Because if he's got the skills, then isn't it about managing that player?
Yeah, most certainly. But when you think about someone like Anderson, you have to think they consider a club like West Ham to be like a stepping stone for something better. So you got to question whether his mindset is correct, because if you were to look at like previous players who played for West Ham who are from South America, they rarely do last longer than 2 seasons. It's 3 seasons tops. I think the last player was South American at West Ham for like 3 seasons was like Diego Poyet, if I'm not mistaken. Barring that, 2 seasons on and off. So that's a question of mindset as well. Anderson.
Yeah. You mentioned Lanzini as well. He's been so unlucky because he was sort of touted as the Coutinho replacement at Liverpool, and then he had that bad injury, and he was one of the best players in the Premier League, but he was up there. He was an excellent player, and it's just his sort of fall from grace is incredible, really.
I mean, I wouldn't say one of the best players in the Premier League. I think you've been having the alcohol a bit too early, Jerome.
What I would say trying to build up your players, Roshane. I'm trying to
get some West Ham fans following us.
I know. But what I would say is that I agree. He's been a good player for West Ham, but he hasn't recovered since suffering that knee injury for Argentina. I think it was 2018. Just hasn't been the same player, and it's always tough to come back from injury like that. I think a player like Falcao, who suffered an injury like that, they haven't been the same. It's the one injury every footballer doesn't want to. Obviously now it's advanced in terms of recovery, but it's the one injury you just don't want to have if you're a footballer. Yeah. And like the last time Lanzini scored for West Ham was May 2019, the last game of the season against Watford. Since then he hasn't scored in a competitive match for West Ham. It's been that long. And as I mentioned, similar to Anderson, he's progressed. He no longer has any influence, and another player the club will be looking to sell this window, unfortunately.
You've had players like Lanzini, and you've had like players like Anderson who you get really excited by, and you think you could have these players for a few years and they're going to take you to the next level. There was the other guy, the French guy as well. He was the same, wasn't he? The name.
I was Dimitri Payet. I was just about to touch on that. Felipe Anderson, Payet, Arnautovic. What is the problem? Why is it always? It seems to be like you've got a good solid season out of them. Everyone's buzzing, look, and then bang. It's like either I want to go or I'm done with this.
Well, stadium.
Yes, the stadium. They consider a club like West Ham like a stepping stone for something better. So West fans are like, oh, this is amazing. Hopefully they can be with us for like 5 years. Really and truly, it's not going to happen. We've seen it with Arnautovic as well. Got a good player, but it doesn't last long, unfortunately, when it comes to a club like West Ham.
I know, as obviously, because I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm not from London or anything like that. I'm Sheffield. I see someone with a West Ham top, and I'm like, "What's he doing up here?" so basically,
think about you in an Arsenal top.
Yeah, that's it. So basically, I've been to Upton Park and used to go there, and I used to hate it because I used to want to just go there, get 3 points, get out, and just leave. That's like not to do with fans or anything like that, but at Upton Park at Bowling Ground, you were an absolute force. An absolute force. I remember going when we went 2-0 up, and then Andy Carroll came out of nowhere and just silenced all of us, literally. Yeah. Then I went to where you are now, and as soon as I got there, you've got to go through a shopping centre, and you've got to get through that way. And then when you get, and then when you get there,
you just got home, haven't you? You just got back to Sheffield.
That's what it felt like. It was weird. But basically,
it's a good shopping centre, though. It's a good shopping centre, Stratford.
Well, basically, when I went, we won 5-1 that night, and when Alexis Sanchez just were unbelievable. And I remember sitting there, and we're all cheering 5-1. Is this a fire drill and all that? And my mate was saying to me who I went with, that were easy, that were absolutely. Because why do you think it's so easy, though? Look at the ground. Look how far away the fans are. They can't do nothing whatsoever. It plays basically into our hands, and every single rival team or any team that comes to your ground now, you're not close enough to the pitch to do anything. Plus, you had stewards that kept coming into the away end and telling everyone to simmer down. And it's like, we're 4-1 up, Chamberlain. Go away. Literally. And it's like, I do feel sorry for West Ham fans, because two of my mates are West Ham fans, and they were saying when they moved to the new ground, and they were saying to me, we're going to pass you a lot. We're to pass Arsenal. And I'm like, just simmer down, because I went through all this with the Emirates. Basically, they carried on, and they're not one of them now say anything to me, but they're waiting for me to say something. And it's like, I don't make mock of them or anything, because it's like kicking a puppy dog. Fair enough, you came at me, but I'm not going to sit there and have a go at you and say, yeah, you've sold your soul and everything, because we were promised everything when we moved to the Emirates by that fraud, Ivan Gazidis. So basically, we were promised that we were going to compete with the best. Their owners, West Ham's owners, said the same thing. They were going to compete, and they were going to, not like titles and all, but they were going to make better than what they usually do. They weren't going to go back down. And they've made more promises to their fans and not delivered them, or they've tried to deliver them, but they've done it by handouts, in my opinion, just what I see. And I do feel sorry for West Ham, because if they were still at the Bowling Ground now, I think you would easily be a top 6 pushing into that top 4. Because Memphis Depay was brilliant. Was brilliant for you lot. He was like Alexis Sanchez was for us.
So what do you think it is with the move to the stadium that's not progressed in the right way, in the way that you thought it might have done?
Like, it's an athletic stadium.
It'll never be home for West Ham fans. Yeah,
it's not home. It's an athletic stadium for them. You can't do nothing. Literally, you're about meters away with a running pitch, and then you get to the actual pitch. You have to have a binocular to see what's going on over there. It's not a football ground at all. I don't know why they did it.
So the investment in they've moved to a ground which I think they got a pretty good deal on, didn't they? So where's the money being spent? Are they buying the wrong players? Where do you feel the money's being spent, and where do you think it should be spent or could be spent better?
Well, definitely spotting the wrong players, as you mentioned, paying over the yards for Sebastian Haller and so on and so forth. But obviously, we know that the coronavirus have sort of like depressed the market, and it's made clubs, have a lot less money to spend. But in my opinion, this whole period has sort of taught you like clubs that are in good hands, as in good owners and good people in the hierarchy. So we've seen Chelsea spend just FIFA money, as far as I'm concerned, spending crazy money. Yeah. And then you see clubs like Sheffield United doing good, Leeds United recruiting well, Crystal Palace recruiting well, Aston Villa recruiting well, whether it's Matty Cash and Ollie Watkins. And then, in my opinion, it's a constant thing where West Ham continue to become the laughingstock of the Premier League. So sacrificing Grady DeGarna, one of the best young players at the club, he sent him to like what could potentially be
a rival.
Relegation rival, for example. So fans are like, what on earth is going on? Where's the money? Prior to the match against Newcastle, there's like a small protest. Yeah. Like fans were having like get Brady and go Sullivan out. We've had enough. RIP West Ham United. And that's pretty much been the theme for the past 12 months. Fans are like, where is our money? Like, we're spending a lot of money on season tickets. Actually, not even back to like fans are like, I'm not renewing my season ticket. We've had enough. And we've seen they try to sign James Tarkowski, but it doesn't look likely about that will go through the line. And when you think about it, like, why on earth would he come to West Ham right now, considering the way the club is run? Who perhaps could be playing in Championship football in a year's time as well. So,
yeah, I mean, we'll get on to that Grady Dianganga. There was a lot of uproar about him going, but how much of a choice would that have been of David Moyes? How much would that have been on the board? Like, because there's a lot of uproar between the players. Obviously, they see him in training and thought to themselves, "Oh, this is a real exciting talent for the new season." So the fact that they've heard him that he's been sold and to West Brom, they're probably a bit annoyed because they want to play with this player. They've seen him come through the ranks. He's been loaned out. They thought coming back, this is good, and then he gets sold. But surely the manager has some influence in that player going out.
He does have. Put it this way, David Moyes didn't expect to sell Diangana. Slaven Bilic didn't expect to get him back. Like, that is pretty much the nutshell of the deal. Neither manager expected Diangana to like leave or come back to West Brom, and that is just solely down to the board. David Moyes had no say whatsoever. David Moyes stated numerous occasions last season he was looking forward to working Diangana, a great young talent. Last season, one position where West Ham struggled was left wing. He does constant rotation, whether it was Fornal, Manuel Lanzini, Anderson, Yarmolenko, constant rotation. But in Grady Diangana, they had someone who was just naturally suited to do well on the left flank. He played well in pre-season. He played well splashing the lair. So fans are like, "Oh, hallelujah! We've got someone who's ready now." And for him to be sold, it makes no sense whatsoever. And again, it's why fans are just annoyed, frustrated, everywhere under the sun when it comes to the board, because they're like, "You're not doing like decisions in the best interest of the club. You're just making constant wrong decisions." And to compound matters, right? Today, bear in mind, West Ham lost yesterday 2-0. Karen Brady had to call him out on Kim Kardashian. So stuff like that, fans are like, you guys just take it out. I mean, talk about terrible timing. Who cares about
it's not good timing.
You know
it's
what I mean?
not
So
good
stuff
timing.
like that. So that's why I like it. Me personally, I feel sorry for David Moyes because the first time he was appointed as manager, done a great job in keeping West Ham up. The club were like, we're going to take a new direction and appoint Manuel Pellegrini. That didn't work out. He's been reappointed manager, kept the club up. Bear in mind, West Ham was just low in confidence. Looked like they were going to go down. And in that situation where fans are like, okay, let's improve. Let's try and challenge for top 10. And again, it's a situation where he's not being backed in the market. Obviously, trying to sign James Tarkowski, but he's not being backed the way he should be. And it's like a situation where fans are like, we're going down again. Like, we're just really not looking promising.
But like, just even there, just from what you just said there, you had David Moyes in. He kept your club up, and it turned a negative into a positive at that point because West Ham were like dead and buried, and they pulled it back. Yeah. Then they said they're going to go in a new direction. The new direction was a guy who's probably older than David Moyes that's working in China. That's a new direction. First of all, that's a red mark there.
It was wrong choice, massively, Pellegrini. Wrong choice.
And second of all, you're just going through some of them players that you talk about there. And I'll add Jack Wilshere to that, Yarmolenko, Felipe Anderson. It all just reeks of on paper, these players look nice. But really, is it really what West Ham need? Is Yarmolenko a name just because everyone knows that back in the day he was decent? Or is it just a case of, or is you buying players that they actually need? I don't feel like West Ham are. I don't feel like the players are coming from a good place. Even up to recently, I saw that West Ham were linked with Mario Götze. And it's another one where on paper it's a great name. It's a great one to have on the back of your shirt because he's won the World Cup or he's won a Champions League. But really, is he still the player that he was then? And it's just I don't know where the recruitment's going. I don't know where the club's going. It's lost its identity. And then when you're losing players like Diangana, it's what do the players that are in the youth ranks, what do they feel? Where do they feel their next step is? Do they feel that there's any route into the first team? when you are seeing them buy players like Yarmolenko, who are not there and haven't been there in years.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a matter of time before West Ham are linked with like Fabio Barini, or they try
Stephen El Shahawi.
Yeah, or they try and tell Titus Bramble to come out of retirement. Just something like that. And yeah, it's a shame because we have a good manager in David Moyes. I was at a U-team game last week at Southend, and David Moyes and Paul Neville and his fitness coach were there. And stuff like that, Pellegrini wasn't doing. Yet you have David Moyes willing to like give up a day off to see young talent. And it's like, there's a good manager here. Respect him. Give him a chance to like invest in the team. As you mentioned, names like Jack Wilshere, obviously it hasn't worked out for Jack. It really hasn't. I feel like Jack should go somewhere like America and just forget about English football, because I don't feel like he's at that level anymore. Because I like Jack Wilshere growing up. We all thought he would become like the next star for England. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. Way too many injuries. In fact, I interviewed Gary Lewin, and he spoke about like he reckons the turning point was that challenge on what's the defender called again?
Daniel Agger.
No, it was Arsenal versus Man United.
He went into one with Fellaini. I don't know if that was it.
I can't remember the defender's name. I think that's Sunderland now. Defender.
Oh, not the twins.
Not West Brom.
Raphael.
No, not West Brom, not Raphael.
John O'Shea.
This is like a game, isn't it?
Sangman.
In the comments, please. In the comments.
In the comment section. Man United defender.
Paddy McNair, I think his name is.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
No one's getting that. Yeah. That's 10 points, that is, if you get that.
He tackled Jack Wilshere, I think, on the ankle, and just hasn't been the same since then. So obviously that's a player you mentioned has done well. Yarmolenko, I like him, but he's injury prone.
All on big wages as well.
Yeah, all on big wages. Flair players, it's just top heavy right now. And again, as I mentioned, hardly anyone has been spent on defense. If you were to reflect on the Bulls past 10 years, the most money spent on defender was Issa Diop for 22 million. If it comes to like fullback, the most money spent in the fullback area is Alpha Masuaku, which is like 6.5 million. Buying that is like 3 signings. Ryan Fredericks was a free transfer. Pablo Zabaleta was a free transfer. Ryan Cresswell was like about 2 million for when he was at Ipswich. Hardly any money's been spent in defense. Hence why West Ham was so crap. But hence why West Ham needs to do a much better job when it comes to defending. And why the team it's just a top heavy team. Like
I do think that David Moyes should have been West Ham manager, in my opinion. Or not, maybe we word that. When you move to your new stadium, that's when you should have had David Moyes, because he would have brought the youth through. It would have kept the players that were already there, and you would probably be better than what you are now. The problem with Pellegrini, took over City, and that class, basically that squad, was already good enough to win the league, but he had to add another 170 million on top of it to make sure that he won it, and even then he nearly lost it. So with Pellegrini, you're not going to see anything with youth. He never changes his system. He never interacts with fans. He never comes out in press conferences and says what he wants. He always says what he thinks is the best thing to say, but he don't. It riles fans up. And with City, you saw everything when they knew they were getting Pep Guardiola. He's in the stadium like this, in the empty head, waving, and there's about only 200 people up at the top that are just waving to him. And it's like, it's a good thing he did go to China, because he's never been loved in England, but he's never helped himself either.
He's not.
The ball. I like David Moyes. I think he's going to be a good manager. I think you should stick with
Man United killed him. Fergie killed him by giving him that job.
But at the moment with West Ham, they seem to sort of he does something good, but then the board seemed to take something away from him. Like he saved them from like relegation, done fantastically. Then he's sort of he's had this thing about Grady Diagna, which is I can't get my head around that. Nor can my West Ham friends. They can't get their head around that. The only reason what we can say is what they sold him for 18 million. Maybe they want to put it towards Tarkowski. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, but
any other reason. But this kid, this Grady, is something else. He's Premiership ready. He's strong. He's quick. And the fans were so excited to see this news, like possible Premiership star at the London Stadium at West Ham, someone who West Ham are used to seeing over the years, and then to have him taken away was not good. It's sad, and okay, they've got signings like Jaron Bowen and Thomas Soucek who I like. So I hope that maybe because they're not going to be able to buy hardly anybody this year. So hopefully with players like that, they can do something.
But what was the offer that they put in for Tchaikovsky?
Worth up to 30 million, but Burnley want in the region of like 50 million for him.
And that's the thing, like, and they're not going to budge from that. I don't think they're going to budge from that because do they have to? Do they have any reason to? They're a team that's finished in the top 10. They're consistently at the level that they are and they have been for however long. Yeah. He's got a long enough contract. Yeah. They've got no reason to sell. So it's a good signing. It will be the right signing for West Ham, but not for 50 million. And you've got to look elsewhere. You've got to start looking elsewhere. One thing we like to look at in here is the youth. There's a few youth players we like to look. I've had a look at and like the look of. Jerome, there was two youth players that you had a little look at. Were they?
Yeah, so I think the one that Roshane will probably know a little bit about is a striker called Mipo Odubeko. So he scored a couple of goals for the under-23s in the EFL game last week. Now you will not see two goals that are more sweetly struck than the goals that he scored, right foot and left foot. The right foot one was about from 30 yards out, and he hit it so clean. He's only 17. They've done. Sometimes you've got to give a bit of credit. They've credit where credit's due. They've done so well, West Ham, because they got him in from Man United. I don't know how they managed to do that.
He's serious, isn't he?
Yeah. He looks. As I said, he's only 17. So, but I think the fans are already talking about throwing him into the first team, aren't they, Roshane?
I reckon it's a bit too soon to throw him into the first team. I reckon, like in cups, come off for like 15-10 minutes, show you can do. I reckon like he could get his chance. West Ham play Charlton on Tuesday in the Carabao Cup. So I reckon he could get a chance there because I'm actually covering Chelsea under 23 against West Ham under 23 tomorrow. I actually don't think he'll be in the squad.
Is that in the EFL Cup?
No, it's under 23 league game.
Okay.
I don't think he should be in the squad. He should at least feature on the bench for Tuesday. And as you mentioned, the goal he scored against Southend were absolutely beautiful. The second goal, oh my goodness, I lost all composure when bloody hell, this guy is really good. And in terms of Meepo joining West Ham, I spoke to someone close to Meepo, and he said the view was at Man United, but he didn't feel like he had a good pathway into the first team. Considering that at Man United, you've got Mason Greenwood, Anthony Martial, possibly Sancho if he can get that over the line. Rashford is waiting players ahead of him in the pecking order. But at West Ham, it's pretty much Allaire and Antonio. Yeah. So if injury happens, you could get a chance. And as I mentioned, I like the look of him. He's really good. He knows where the back of the net is, pace. Sky's the limit for him, honestly. Yeah.
I think he scored 7 goals in 6 appearances, the under-18s last season.
Yeah.
So as you said, he obviously knows where the net is. There's one other player who, to be honest, I haven't seen too much of. He had a bowel injury, Xande Silva.
Yeah.
He's 23, but he's played for the Portuguese sort of at youth team level. That hasn't. He's picked up this bowel injury, so he hasn't really played much. What do you think of him, Roshane? Has he got much potential to sort of make it the first team?
In my opinion, he should leave West Ham. In my opinion, not the fact that he's not good enough, but he's not going to get chances at West Ham. At a club like West Ham, it's sort of hard when you're like a second choice striker because rarely will you play. You play about, and I was there for football in about 6 months, pretty much. If you look at like someone like Alban Ajeti, he hardly featured last season, hence why he was sold. Jordan Hugill played about 22 minutes in 6 months. Just disrespectful when you think about it, and he was sold.
Yeah, Gerard Bowen didn't get many games.
He's 23. He's got to be playing week in, week out now, in my opinion.
I was just about to say another one is Nathan Holland. I mean, you just got rid of Diangana, and Holland went on loan to Oxford last season. How far is he off? And And is there any chance of him potentially getting into the first team?
Yeah, Nathan Holland is a big talent. When I spoke to Jack Collison a few months ago, he said he's the best talent he's seen at that age at West Ham. And that's saying a lot. And I like Holland, again, similar to me, Paul. Knows where the back of the net is. He's good link-up play, good at providing assists. My only problem with Nathan Holland is that sometimes he suffers a lot of injuries. Okay. So that's my only hunch of him. He's a bit injury-prone at times.
He's quite slight as well.
Yeah, that's my only issue with him. Apart from that, I feel like he's good enough. He could perhaps do with another loan spell.
Yeah.
When West Ham released like the jersey numbers, Nathan's name was on there. So reading between the lines, perhaps you could go out and learn. But again, another big to be honest, right now, West Ham are killing the game in terms of young players.
The thing is, they have been for years, though, because even when I was younger, look, we talk about when I was younger, Joe Cole, Frank Lampard, Rio, Anton, all these players, the youth ranks, and West Ham have got a well-renowned youth system. It's well-renowned. And you'll see here Man United have taken players from West Ham and stuff like that. They take them from West Ham. It's the place. But why are they not using that as either... Okay, some players will get sold, but that's where you take the money, reinvest it into the squad. Next one, bringing players through. That's surely that's got to be the system for West Ham. Not saying they're going to be like the next Ajax, but that if you set out to be something similar to that, and you're going to sell your players once they come through, but you're going to reinvest that. That's not a bad thing. You're talking about the West Ham way, which is like bringing through youth, playing a certain way. That would seem to me as that's the way forward.
When you've got that, when your money's tight like it is, you would have thought that the youth would be the first thing that they'd be looking for, and possibly your experience, Roshane. I mean, how important is Mark Noble to West Ham at the moment?
Oh, incredibly important. We saw it in a tweet recently, just how important he still is to West Ham. That tweet was like he's sad, gutted, and I think angry at the departure of Grady Agana. And I think he may have been against Watford. I wrote a piece on Mark Noble playing like 500 games for West Ham, which in this day and age is just so rare for a player to make that many appearances for one club. And I spoke to about 30 people for that one piece. Everyone's like, Mark Noble's a legend. He means a lot to West Ham. When you think of West Ham, you think of someone like Mark Noble. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but that's how important he is for that club. And one player I spoke to said he deserves a statue for all he's done for the club. And like when you think of someone like Mark Noble, like he's been through it all. So many different managers, Avram Grant, Zola, you name it, he's been through all of them. And if anyone knows about that club and where it should be heading, it's definitely someone like Mark Noble. When players retire, sometimes they become managers, coaches. In my opinion, Mark Noble should go straight to the top and making those important decisions because he's got the club best interests at heart. Obviously, in terms of on-the-field contribution, it's not the same as before. He started the match, in fact, against Newcastle, the number 10 role. He was all right, wasn't particularly great. And in my opinion, now the club should sort of play him off the bench, transition that sort of pathway, someone to take his role in the long term because he's 33 now. His contract expires at the end of the season, so we don't even know what's going to happen in terms of that respect. But still an important presence in the dressing room. When Jeremy Depp his debut, he spoke about, obviously he's gone to Watford now, but he spoke about like Noble keeping him calm throughout the match. You need to have that sort of leadership in the dressing room at a club like West Ham.
100%. I was going to say, someone like Mark Noble is the kind of player where you see that the club have given him a year extension and you think to yourself, why? He's not played any games last season, but you don't understand the impact of these players in the dressing room. It's so integral in the dressing room, on the training ground, to have these players in and around the squad, youth players looking up to them, new players that they sort of. I mean, I've walked into squads here, and it's like it's that feeling like your first day of school. It's football, so it's different when you're an adult, but it's a bit like okay. And then when you've got that person that comes over to you, and it's like, all right, mate, how you doing? Da-da-da-da-da, and walks you through everything. It puts you at ease, mate, and it makes you feel like you're part of it straight away. And someone like Mark Noble is the kind of person you can 100% see doing that.
And I just want to come back to that tweet again because when he made that tweet, fans were like, thank goodness. About time someone in the playing staff said how you all feel. And again, Noble, he's a fan at the end of the day. He cares about the club. And that moment is a turning point in my opinion for West Ham because it shows the players are united. I know Graham Souness came out yesterday and started talking absolute garbage.
You listen to him anyway.
Yeah.
You listen to him. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I see that.
All you hear is a murmur of mumbles, and you heard Graham Souness. It's just no one's happy. I don't even know what you was going to say about Graham Souness, but it was going to be something miserable.
Absolute garbage he came out and said about the So and he's letting on the team. Absolute garbage, just garbage.
No. He's just not impressed the board. That's all it is. But the teammates are probably firmly on his side.
Yeah.
Recruitment. Who are West Ham bringing in? Roshane, give us some exclusives. Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggled.
My Ornstein, he spoke on last week on the Ornstein the Chapman podcast about West Ham. I used to sign in the Shakhtar Donetsk defender Mikola Matvienko.
Decent.
He's a good defender in the sense where he'll be cheaper than James Tarkowski. He can play centre back and left back. So when you think about it, ideal for West Ham because right now he's the centre half and the left back. So that's 2 in 1 if you were to sign him, if you know what I mean. So stuff like that. So that's one player they've been linked to and they made a few inquiries for. In terms of like my sort of fantasy wish list, Rico Henry I think will be a good shout. The left back for Brentford. He's really good. Someone who played against West Ham against Brentford in pre-season, and he was really good, played well. And another reminder he should be the long-term successor for someone like Cresswell. Because after Masuaku, he's alright, but he's got his moments where he's a bit inconsistent, especially defensively. So that's another player. And a bit light in strikers. So it wouldn't surprise me if Moyes makes a few loan signings. In fact, in his press conference last Friday, he said they've been offered a few players on loan. So that could be a thing. And you asked me about recruitment. When it comes to a club like West Ham, the last week of that window, expect West Ham to be linked to every player on the side.
Yeah.
Every
bargains.
You name it. Messi, Ronaldo, you name it, all of them. So that especially, but the priority for West Ham, definitely defensively. When the Ghana was sold, they did say the statement that now we have money for defensive additions. And that is true because defense is the priority. And we saw it against Newcastle, just bad defending for Callum Wilson's goal, Jack Hennett's goal as well. So they need to sign a centre half and a left back, in my opinion. Because right back, they got Ben Johnson and Ryan Fredericks, so both injury prone, but that's okay for the time being. But definitely centre half, someone to partner Bonner because Issa Diop is a bit inconsistent in my opinion. And left back, that just needs to improve for a long time anyway. So,
do you think Chelsea will get Declan Rice then?
Just about to go to Declan Rice.
I've had a prayer this morning that that Chelsea's very Declan Rice because to be honest, I think it would be unthinkable for the club to sell Grady Diagana and Declan Rice in the same window. That would just be unthinkable.
Pitchforks and lanterns coming
out. I can't even fathom the scenes that would happen.
You're practically saying, please hurt us when you come here.
Do not do that to West Ham, I tell you.
But the thing is, Chelsea still signing Declan Rice. They still want him. I know they're signing the goalkeeper from Rennes, but they're still interested in signing Declan Rice. And considering they sold Grady and Ghana for 18 million, it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea were to bid like 50 or 60 million just to test the waters. Well, West Ham do want at least 80 million for Declan Rice. So
and that's the
thing. To be seen, but I hope he stays because he's a good player, and I think he's 21 now.
The thing is, when this COVID first hit, every club there was talk of like 50% sale on all players, 30% off. Was 100 mil, now 20 mil. West Ham were like the first ones to come out and go, yeah, Declan Rice is still 80 million. And it's like, everyone was like, what? Do you not know what's going on? Like, the world's come to an end, and you're still trying to tell me that Declan Rice is 80 million. But you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, basically. But Chelsea really want him. And can you genuinely see them turning down a bid of, say, 60 to 70 million for Declan Rice?
No. They'll bargain. They'll bargain towards the end. And then Declan Rice, I think, will go. Because it's Chelsea, isn't it? They'll bid money.
I'm just thinking of West Ham's board and having that type of money offered to a... I think it'd be hard for him to turn...
Can I ask Roshane something about Declan Rice? Where's his best position? Because he's been playing a lot in centre midfield, but there was talk that he could be like top centre back. where would you play him? Would you play him in centre midfield?
No, I'll play him as a defensive midfielder in the centre mid role. That's his best position in my opinion. Centre back, you're a waste for Declan Rice because he's sort of like, well, if you think about the goal he scored against Watford, that long range strike, he has that in his locker. And last week he's been trying that all the time. Every match, everyone's like, Declan, please don't shoot. Please don't. But he was like, you know what, I'm going to keep trying, I'm going to keep persevering. And he went in. And that's what his locker. And I didn't have a good game against Newcastle, but he's so important for West Ham. Such an best player, in my opinion. Him, Ballard, and Antonio. And it'll be a waste for Chelsea to play him on centre back. Absolute waste. So another reason why he should stay.
So, what, you don't feel that if Chelsea was to buy him, that centre back would be shining there? No,
it'll be an absolute waste. Like last season, in terms of numbers, Declan Rice was like in the top 3 when it comes to like tackles, regaining possession. Defensively, he's just an absolute animal, honestly. And he's only 21, and he's not even in his prime. Imagine how good he'll be when he's like 27, 26. When he knows that role a bit more consistent as well. He'll be worth like 200 million by then.
Slow down.
If we keep him away from Southgate, he could be New Vieira.
The thing is,
swap him with Kante.
Yeah.
So, but they must make me want to get rid of him then.
The thing is, he's got a contract until what, 2024. So they hold all the cards.
Yeah.
So if they don't want to sell,
but they held all the cards for Diagana. He had 5 years left on his contract before he was sold. So honestly, like in an ideal world, Declan Rice would stay at West Ham until 23, in my opinion. 23, and then you could say, you know what, you're giving absolutely everything for West Ham. Now you deserve to go to a big club and like really fulfill your potential. But for the time being, no way should have considered selling him. No matter how skinny you are, you're not in the Championship. You're in the Premier League. Like you hold all the cards right now.
Yeah.
So
they've got to build around him then. They've got to build around him because right now it's just a lot of mismatching. It's a lot of mismatching.
But there's building round him, but then I'm just going to twist it. Sorry. Basically, there's building round him, but then if we get to the end of this season and West Ham have been relegated and they're in the Championship and Declan's still there, you're not going to get that sort of money, really, are you? If you think where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But you
apologise to the fans.
But you don't set out with a mindset that you might get relegated.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not. Yeah.
If you're setting out with a. You're setting out with a mindset that you're going forward. If you've got a guy there who is in the England squad, and a lot of the players around him are inconsistent. Maybe at the end of the road, maybe just not there for West Ham or not there for the Premier League. You've got to have a point.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You hang your hat on.
The owners could be thinking as well. What if we don't accept though? It's the last 2 days of the window till it shuts. They've been offered 60 million for him, and then they go, no, we'll reject it. But then they do reject it, and then Chelsea come back in next summer and go, wait, we've took him for 30.
But Declan Rice's
football's not football anymore. It's a business.
No, but Declan Rice's stock is no way can fall that much in one season. It can't. It can't. He's not going to be that bad. Like over one season, that much bad of a player. It's very rare, and this is the time during COVID as well. Like when money's scarce.
Can I just ask Roshane? I mean, there's a lot of like people are wondering whether it's one way or the other. I mean, do West Ham have to buy to sell? Just simple as that. I mean, are they in that situation?
You mean sell to buy, right?
Sell to buy, sorry, Sell to buy,
No, that is the case, honestly. That is the case. Money is really tight right now. We have to sell to buy, that really is the case. Hence why, again, the Ghana was sacrificed because money is so tight right now. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, this pandemic has sort of told you that clubs that are well run and clubs that have been spending money carelessly, which is the West Ham.
Yeah.
One of the names that came out after you sold Diagana was Said Benrahma. Is there much in that? Do you think they're going to pursue that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't think they'll pursue that for the simple fact that West Ham have a lot of ringers right now, and it just wouldn't make any sense whatsoever to sell him. In my opinion, he's a bit similar to Lanzini, in all honesty, quite similar to him. So, and as I mentioned, we've got young players like David Holland coming through who could perhaps fill that role. So it'd just be a waste for them to sign another attacking player. And it's like, if you look on the board, past track record over the past 10 years, I don't know what it is, but they just have they just love signing attacking players. It's like, You told the board the second player, like, oh yeah, we'll have him. We'll have him. No problem with that.
It's like a sweet shot for him.
You get the defender, they're like, nah, we don't want a defender. But as I mentioned, that has to be the priority right now, because as I mentioned, West Ham have a lot of wingers, a lot of number 10s, but you need to have a foundation at the back, and that should be the priority this window.
And I think you've got the right manager there to do that, because if stability is David Moyes' thing. Let's go on to next season. What's the predictions for next season? I mean, personally,
I'll stay quiet.
West Ham ain't going down. But what's the predictions for next season? Roshane, we'll start with you.
West Ham won't go down, but the next 6 games are so tough, in my opinion. So tough. The way it wouldn't be like crazy to say West Ham could enter November with 0 points, because the next 6 games are Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, Man City, and Liverpool. That is just crazy.
In that order?
You get 3 points off Tottenham.
Oh, God.
You're Tottenham's bogey team.
I'm telling you, it's going to be terrible. Absolutely terrible. So I reckon West Ham will get probably like somewhere between like maybe 14th and 16th. Because as I mentioned, you mentioned it, in fact, Kieran, I had a good start to the form, lost away a little bit. Everyone thought West Ham was going down, and they turned it around. And I feel like that could perhaps be a case of deja vu this season. I don't feel like West Ham will go down. The squad too talented for it to go down, but there will be a tough fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very important towards the end of the transfer window to see what you can bring in, so you can stop that potentially. Steve, seeing as you've got a load of West Ham fans probably at your front door right now, waiting to see what you say with your predictions for next season, we'll go to you next.
Oh, where does he live in that yellow? Where does he live?
Mate, you want to see the comment section right now? They're going mad.
I had phone calls before I went on tonight saying you better not say anything about our club, do you? But no, if I said West Ham would get relegated, I wouldn't get out the front door. So I'm not. But seriously, I don't think there's any chance of them going down. The reasons why I think that, and I think they'll do a little bit better than just survive. I think they've got the right manager in David Moyes. I think they've got some decent youth coming in. I think with players like Declan Rice, if obviously we're going to assume they keep him, Mark Noble, Ogbono I like, Mikel Antonio, Fabianski, Thomas Suket, players like that, Joe Abderrad Bowen, who I'm pretty sure is going to get more game time next season. I've known 7-8 players, decent players, who are a lot better than other teams. So I think they'll end up having quite a decent season. They won't. I don't think they'll be struggling at relegation. I'd say they'll finish around about 13th.
Jerome, what are you saying on next season for West Ham? Big transfer window coming up.
Yeah, my very best mate's a big West Ham fan, so I've got to be careful. And obviously,
everyone's got mates who's a West Ham fan. It's ruining this podcast for everyone.
Wait till we do Man United edition. My next door neighbour's a United fan.
Brother.
I think 14th, 15th, 16th, somewhere like that, because they need to strengthen, don't they? And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Declan Rice. I think if they don't strengthen, then 14th, 15th, 16th. If they strengthen, then maybe something slightly above that. Yeah. So,
all right, Simon, what are you saying on West Ham?
I play the same as Jerome, about 16th, 17th. I mean, after them fixtures, he's just reeled out. They should be a bounty on that Premier League machine that brings out the fixtures. My God. But yeah, if we could get to, I'd say about 16th, 17th. I think you're probably going to get piped against the top 6, to be honest. I mean, I saw the game against Newcastle, and Newcastle weren't really that impressive. West Ham's defence was just all over the place. And then I remember sitting there watching it, and my mate going, "What's your next game?" I went, "These at the Emirates." it should be 9, especially with Aubameyang. God. So, but then it's like, I think David Moyes, you're in safe hands. You'll not get relegated. With David Moyes, you won't get relegated because he can turn basically average players and make them play for you, if you get what I mean. They're not just down tools or anything like that. Under Pellegrini, they'll do that. They'll down tools because he's just got note about him. So, but with Moyes, you've seen what he did at Everton. In a few years, obviously, when you've got right players and everything's kind of on board, you could do what Everton did, slowly but surely build something.
But it needs consistency, and that's the thing with West Ham. They have to be consistent. There will be down times, there will be bad patches, and you've got to just stick through.
One quick thing. What really annoyed West Ham fans that I knew, and I think Roshane might, I'm sure he'd agree, was their cup runs last season.
Yeah.
They've got, the first side they put out against
West Brom.
Come on. They got beat 4-0. Oxford, wasn't it? Oxford, they got beat 4-0 at Oxford, and they dropped 9 players. West Ham should have a cup run, play full side, and also in the FA Cup. They played the stronger side in the FA Cup. Do you think they should go for the Cup this season, Roshane?
100%. A club like West Ham, who unfortunately not going to win the Premier League anytime soon, you've got to have some sort of incentive to do one cup, because a club like West Ham, you can't aspire to stay in the league every season. You've got to try and build some progress, build some momentum, and I have a lovely seat in my wardrobe. I love to wear it to Wembley at some point in the future. Just putting that out there. It's just the case of last season, for example, as I mentioned, the Newport game, West Ham may have won, but Oxford, that was just terrible, 4-0 defeat. And then losing against West Brom, I think it was in the 4th round at FA Cup, just again, not good enough. 2 clubs where you're thinking, West Ham are a better team here, they should be doing well. And that should definitely be the priority of the season, to do 1 cups, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, it's like it. Would you take winning the FA Cup and just surviving relegation on the final day?
Right, yeah.
Good man.
I wouldn't say the final day, perhaps 2 to advance to get in the day.
Don't need that stress.
Yeah.
No, but
it's a trophy, though, isn't it? It's a trophy.
It seems to be a thing with clubs, maybe just outside the top 6, that the cup is just okay. Ignore that. We're concentrating on the league, but there's a group of clubs in the Premier League that they're not that much in danger of going down. Yeah. They should really push for a cup run. I'd say West Ham, one of them, Newcastle, Burnley, all they're all clubs that you don't feel are going to get relegated, but they never really push for a cup run. West Ham used to do it as well. Yeah,
used to do it. You know what? That's largely down to finances. You probably get more money for finishing 7th or 8th than winning the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Think about it. So a lot of it's down to money, and West Ham fans, they always talk about FA Cup final where Gerrard killed our hearts pretty much in 2006.
Or when you beat Arsenal in the FA Cup final, they still bring that one back. I
wasn't born then, so
I weren't born. They still tell me about it.
I get reminded of that every single day. You wouldn't believe it.
This is what I mean. So, and it's those things which sort of because I used to have it with when Arsenal were in the Champions League, but we're not in there anymore. But I used to get it where when Arsenal beat Barcelona in a group stage match, it was a group stage match. That joy I still have today. Oh yeah, this and that. And I talk about it. And my dad rang me. These things are so important for a fan. Not that the club got more money because they finished two steps higher in the league. That's not a memory.
Yeah. No. And just touching on Arsenal briefly, fans still say what would happen if Lehmann never got sent off, for example, how different that game could have gone.
Yeah.
We would have won that.
Yeah. How that could have changed Arsenal, for example, how different the game could have gone if that goal never went, if I forgot the defender's name.
For
West Ham. Yeah. How different life would have been if he'd not given the ball away and Gerrard never scored. It would have fans still remember it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. All right. That is our West Ham breakdown with Roshane Thomas. Roshane, I want to thank you so much for coming on our show tonight. It's greatly appreciated. You've given us insight. I mean, he gave us as kind of an exclusive. Next time, come with some more exclusives. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on. We'd love to have you on again. Yeah, hopefully we've done West Ham some justice.
No, great chat. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm more than happy to come again. Kieran, Simon, Jerome, and Steve. Really, really appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
We'll have you back
Thanks,
anytime,
Roshane.
man. Take care, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers,
See you
mate.
later.
Take
See
care,
you later.
mate. Thank
See
you.
ya.
Cheers, mate.
All right. People in the comments section. Roshane is a legend. Yes, he is. There's been a lot of shout outs for Roshane. Thank you, all West Ham fans, for watching us tonight. Please excuse Simon.
Remember, wash your hands, and we'll see you next week.
Nah, we're not done yet. Don't worry, because it's do. I stole that from a program that 95% of you will not even know what that theme tune is. So I'm going to say it's from my program. I just made that up on the spot. Okay, we're ready for the transfer roundup, and it's probably, to be fair, it's its earliest it's been in about 5 weeks. Because by this point right now, we're probably on to a different segment of the show, but not today. We have the transfer roundup, and we're going to start, because Jerome abandoned us last week. He decided to do other things. I don't know what it was, but he was doing other things. We didn't get to speak about a couple of Man City youth players. One of them is still integrated in the transfer thing, because one of them's coming in October, I think it is. A Brazilian called Jan Kuto, and a winger called Jaden Brath, who's already in the youth team, who potentially could be leaving, hopefully sometime soon, to one of our clubs. You never know. Tell us about them two players, please, Jerome.
Wow. Where should we start? Should we start with Jan Kuto?
Yeah, because he's going to be coming in October, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's 18. Both of these players are 18. So he's a right back. He's got 25 caps for the Brazil under-17 team, which that's got to be some sort of record. 25 caps for Brazil under-17. Normally, at youth team level, people might play 5-10 games.
Yeah.
The first thing you notice about him is his height. He's about 5'5". He's absolutely tiny. But considering how small he is, he's very strong and doesn't really get out muscled, doesn't really get barged off the ball. It's really quite weird to watch, really.
Low centre of gravity.
Yeah. I think, sometimes people know how to use their bodies rather than just using brute force.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays for Man City, if he makes it into the first team, he'll be the most attacking fullback that we'll see in the league. His dribbling skills are unbelievable, and it's really weird because he's a different, especially physique-wise, very different to sort of Kyle Walker, their current right back, like really different. And he actually chose to go to City over Barcelona. I think Pep had quite a big influence on that. If you want to watch a fantastic attacking, skillful fullback, he's one of those.
Yeah, it's very exciting to watch, isn't he? I could watch him, and he looks like a winger. He plays like a winger.
Absolutely,
not defensive at all, just bombs forward.
Yeah, but I think defensively he's quite sound defensively as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Jan Kuto. So Jaden Brath, again another 18 years old. He signed a couple of seasons ago from PSV. Now he was touted as the sort of replacement for Leroy Sané, which is quite, puts a little bit of pressure on him. He can play on either wing. He's right-footed. He reminds me a little bit of Wilfried Zaha, maybe a slightly sort of speedier, quicker version. Super direct. He's played for the Dutch under-17 and under-18 teams.
Yeah.
I guess when people watch him, you might say he's a little bit greedy, perhaps, but maybe as he gets older, that might change, perhaps. But I think he won the under-23 Player of the Season last year as well.
Yeah, he's mustard.
But yeah, he's Yeah, he's excellent.
Yeah, he went to the under 18s World Cup in October, Brazil, and I think he was one of the highest assists. And the top goal scorer in that was Sonji Hansen, and I think every time he got set up, it was by Jaden Brath. He's a serious talent, and Arteta loves him.
Wow, nice.
He loves Arteta as well. He's apparently, because he's got a bit of an attitude. Arteta liked his attitude, and he sort of angled it in the right way. And they really got on well, which helped him progress at Man City.
Nice. And
there seems to be a bit of a stopgap with Pep at the moment, because he wants first team football, and Pep's saying you need to wait. And he doesn't like, not that he doesn't like that he's come to him, but he likes that sort of, when you're ready, I'll tell you you're ready kind of thing, as opposed to you come to me and say, I want to be playing. So we're
signing in next summer.
We'll keep tabs on him. We'll keep tabs on him. Thank you for that, Jerome. Next up, Sheffield United, Crystal Palace and Aston Villa, all interested in signing England under-21 international forward Ryan Brewster. Liverpool want 20 million for him. Steve, was it Sheffield United want to loan him, but they also put in an offer which got rejected straight away, didn't it?
Yeah, it got rejected straight away. Klopp has literally comes out with something different every day on Ryan Brewster. I watch him on Sky. I hear quotes of him in newspaper, and I'm sure the geezer's off his head in one way or another. But the last quote I said, he said that he's not decided on Ryan Brewster future. Sheffield United want him. They continue to be heavily linked, but like you said, they want a loan. They haven't got enough money to give the 25 million that Klopp wants, which seems a bit much. But apparently he's not decided what he wants to do with him yet. So don't give Ryan Brewster a lot of
the last loan was very much last minute at Swansea anyway as well, so it kind of reeks that that's going to be happening again. But I was just about to say, with Klopp, if you see Klopp here and there, and just like on like Sky Sports or like on Match of the Day, you think to yourself, oh, quirky guy. But if you follow him and you're hearing his quotes every day, his interviews every other day, you think to yourself, this geezer ain't all there. He's mental.
Mate, I think exactly the same. What are you talking about?
Yeah, especially with the Alcantara stuff. It's 1 minute, it's like, yeah. The next minute, it's like, who? Alcantara? And it's just like, I can't keep up with the guy. It's like, are you buying him or not? I can't shut down. That's the new one with managers, isn't it? I can't stop the speculation. So you're after him then.
It's like Wenger, isn't it?
The speculation.
Why you look at me? Because it's your bloody press conference, Arsene.
he's like Eric. What he is, he's like Eric Cantona and some when he does his poetry. And you're going, listening like that.
Speaks in riddles.
And you're trying to get your. And when he's finished, you think, I've got to rewind that. But yeah.
All right.
Good old Jurgen.
Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United are keen on signing fullback Nuno Mendes of Sporting Lisbon. This is from Ojoga, not Ebola. Ojoga. Is it Ojoga in it? Ojoga's the good one. I'm not dismissing any papers, but Ebola is a bit Abuki sometimes. It's a bit all over the place, trust me. But
they were the ones that were talking about Fernandez.
Yes, so Ebola is...
It's not the greatest name to have, is it?
A bit Sun newspaper. Ojogo is the one that's a bit more, is a lot more reliable and a lot more credible. Jerome, you had a little look at him. This player is in demand from Arsenal, Man United, and Liverpool.
Yeah, he's only made a few appearances for Sporting Lisbon. He actually recently played against Porto, and obviously a top team in Portugal, and really didn't look out of place at all. Very composed on the ball, very calm. And sometimes he'll get the ball and nothing's really happening, and he'll just go through the gears very quickly. Really, he's got a really sort of powerful sprint on him. He can sometimes look a little bit sort of lackadaisical or like a bit lazy on the ball, perhaps. But I think that's just his style. But he's been described as, you know, one of these wonder kids. I know a lot of people get described as, but really highly rated. He's definitely one with a lot of potential, and a lot of people seem interested in him, as you say. Yeah,
I was speaking to my guy in Portugal, and I was speaking to him about Fernandes, and he actually said that this guy is the guy to watch out for as well. Fernandes recently got dropped back into the under-23 squad, and he got promoted, I think, in the game that you with Porto and previous to that as well. Okay. And he said it was probably on merit because he'd been doing so well in the under-23 squad that they pushed him up, and obviously he's showing that he can do the business. I thought he looked more like a bloody defensive midfielder the way he was built. Like, he's not built like a fullback. Like you said, he powers through players. And I thought to myself, I said to the guy, is this guy a DM? He goes, I understand what you mean. He's got the physique and he runs through them like that. But no, he's not a fullback. Yeah. Decent. Yeah. Man City first choice centre-back is Benfica and Portuguese international Ruben Dias. However, they have been priced out of buying him. Someone replied to this the other day, and said, well, Man City nearly buying Koulibaly. How's Ruben Dias first choice? Because I just told you that Man City have been priced out of buying Ruben Dias, who is their first choice. That's why they're after Koulibaly.
That's how it always was. That's why
just don't.
He was there. No.
Yeah, I know. But some people you just can't help, Steve. Everton have completed the signing of Doucouré of Watford for £25 million on a 4-year deal. Well done, Everton. One of many very good signings. Aston Villa completed the signing of Brentford striker Ollie Watkins for £30 million plus add-ons. Again, very good signing there. And he scored yesterday, didn't he, Steve? Against Man United.
In the friendly,
In the friendly against Man United.
Yeah, he did,
Very good start. Yeah. Everton, Steve.
Excellent work by Simon on that one. So on the Ollie Watkins one.
Well done, Simon.
We got that.
Cheers.
Steve, I don't know why it's a congratulations to Everton fans, but it feels like it's like a birthday present. Just saying, them other 3 signings they got for Everton as well, weren't it? This week, James Rodriguez finished off.
James Rodriguez finished off. Wages were sorted. So obviously they're not messing about. Doucouré, they had an even better result because they got the deal they wanted with Doucouré. They didn't have to up it like I thought they might have to. And obviously Alan was done a lot more before that. And so you got an hat-trick there, Everton fans.
And it's not stopping there though, is it?
You just took the words right out of my mouth. I don't know who, but there's definitely not going to stop there. I can definitely see a winger. A winger came in maybe.
Well, there was talk of that Everton are going to be preparing a 40 million bid for Wilfried Zaha.
That'll be in the next few days.
So that'll be in the next few days. Was there another one you got, Si? Was that just a bit more information on that one?
No, just that's pretty much it. It says he's given up on his chase now with Arsenal. He's given up knowing that he's not going to play for Arsenal. So now he wants to move from Crystal Palace to a bigger club. And that's not his words, that's Roy Hodgson's own words. So he's definitely going to go, and I think he will go to Everton. And a bit of information I have been told before tonight, Everton tried to make a late appearance for Martinez, but it was already done. He had his medical with Villa, signed his contract, and Everton were too late.
Yeah, I don't know why clubs keep doing that, because Brighton did the same thing, didn't they? It's like, just get your business in check, boys.
Zaha scored, didn't he, as well? He scored the weekend.
Plus, I've got a feeling that Arsenal are probably trying to keep these clubs sweet. Like, there's no one for Brighton that Arsenal could potentially want. probably no interest from anyone else. So they're probably thinking maybe if Jack Grealish ever had to appear on that transfer wish list, that they might get a sweetener in. We sorted you out with Martinez, you can sort us out with Jack. You know what I mean? You never know.
Nah, we'll stick France. We'll stick with French.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute. We had it confirmed. Oh yeah. Steve said it last week, yeah, but it needs. Look, some people don't understand. Yeah, we got told that David Alaba will be in the Premier League within 2 weeks. That's not happened, yeah. But from that, little bit of Fred, he pulled, kept on pulling, yeah. And we unthreaded it, yeah. And what did we find? We found out, we've done some digging, that David Alaba had actually held talks with Man City. It was the club that we thought that he was going to go to anyway, because if you tell me that David Alaba is going to be playing in the Premier League in the next 2 weeks, there's only 2 clubs that need left back that can afford him. That's Chelsea and Man City. Chelsea had already got Chilwell, sorry, and it left Man City. So we did a bit of digging, asked the right people. They said nothing. Then a couple of days later, they got back in touch and said, actually, you were right. David Alaba has held talks with Manchester City. Then, a week later, who pops out and tells everyone? Bild, yes. German #1 football outlet in Germany, Bild, then came out and said, Man City had held talks with David Alaba. Who needs Bild when you got the Transfer Exchange Show? Thank you very much. I'm just going to gloat a little bit for a couple more seconds. And done. Ollie Burke has signed for Sheffield United and swap deal with Robinson. Barcelona have agreed terms with Memphis Depay. Let's have a little Arsenal update. All right, Simon, Lucas Torreira. I think it's the other Fiorentina have upped their bid from 10 million loan. So 10 million loan and a 20 million obligation to buy. So that's probably the best deal so far. So it's still out of them with Torino.
Arsenal are quite annoyed with Torino because Torino were willing to pay 21.5 million up front for Lucas. But then what they've done is they've gone into discussions with Arsenal and they've kind of messed Arsenal about. And Arsenal have gone back to Fiorentina and basically said, no, nothing's done at the minute. So Fiorentina have come back in with their offer. And now Torino have come in saying, oh, well, now we've changed it. We want a loan with just an obligation to buy. And Arsenal are like, well, no, you said 21.5. So now Fiorentina are back in the hunt for him. And it looks like at the minute Fiorentina are going to be the winners because Torreira wants Fiorentina. I think that's something to do with his family, like where he were. You know, is it Sampdoria?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're next to each other or anything, but he's got family near Fiorentina.
Geography's not my bag, mate. Socrates, it's Napoli.
Yeah,
and we've had a bit more on the Mustafi one. It does seem like the rumours about Napoli wanting Mustafi as well are actually true.
Yeah, they are. They've been quiet about it.
They want to take both Mustafi and Socrates, which blew my mind when I first heard it. And it's still blowing my mind right now. But I mean, crack on.
Please take them.
Crack on. Sai Kolasinac.
I'm saying nothing.
No, we want to hear your opinion. No. By saying you're saying nothing, you're saying something, which tells me you want to let something cough your chest there, Steve. Come back to you in a second.
No.
In a second. No. In a second. Kolasinac, Sai. Kolasinac. There was talks about potentially he could be going to Roma, and then there was also talks about Schalke and Arsenal paying a percentage of his wages on that loan.
Yeah, and then basically Bayer Leverkusen have come in now, and they're in discussions with Kolasinac's agent and Arsenal representatives as of yesterday, and they've already held meetings with the player as well, and he's given the green light to move in there. And the thing with Bayer Leverkusen. They've just sold Kai Havertz and got a tidy little profit up front. So Arsenal know that they're pushing him now
for the
towards
sale or is it a
Germany.
loan?
No, it's a sale. They know Kai Havertz with the money. They know how much Chelsea had to pay up front for Kai Havertz. So they're pushing him now towards Bayer Leverkusen, and he just wants to go back to Germany. And
Leverkusen just bought guy from Roma, Patrick Schick.
Schick, something like that.
Schick, yeah, it's 26 million they paid for him. So they've got money. Steve, Mustafi and Socrates to Napoli. Talk to me. You just said, I'm not saying anything. Well, then you said something now. The fans want to hear what you've got to say. Come on, Si, don't make me mute you.
Look, if we need money, which is an absolute disgrace if we do, because we're Arsenal Football Club and we shouldn't have to sell players to need money, then fair enough. If we're going to get decent money for them, then it's what we need to do. If that's the only way we can make funds, which I don't like, it don't sit right. I don't like it. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Socrates.
But what if it's not that?
Well, I can't see any other way. I don't know. But
Space.
I like Mustafi. I'm sorry, I like him. I think he's done well. I think since Arteta's came, I don't think he's put a foot wrong. I think he's proved, in games that he's played well. And if you want to if we get rid of him for space, like Simon says, and we're going to get good money for him, and Arteta's happy with what he's got at the back there, and he's got cover in all areas, and we're going to get good money, then fine. But I think he's really improved since Arteta's come in. And I think I just think he'd be a good player to have around. Because we've got young players there, people who are not even used to the club. It's important. But like I just said, if we need the funds and we're going to get 25 million, 26 billion for him, which maybe we will now. For Mustafi? Mustafi?
No, Mustafi's got a year left in his contract.
Yeah.
They'll be lucky to get 10 for him.
Yeah.
Napoli are willing to pay 10 mil for both, is what I've been told.
So that's 7 mil. That's 7 mil for Mustafi, and that's 3 mil for Socrates on compensation.
Well, either way, or 5, whatever it is.
So we're getting rid of both for 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're getting nothing. We're getting nothing for Socrates. That's in compensation.
Look, Arsenal's centre backs, just Arsenal centre backs alone. Gabriel,
I might be wrong.
Wait. Just Arsenal centre backs alone. Yeah, Gabriel, Saliba, Luiz, Mari, Rob Holding, Mustafi, and Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's 1, 2. But we're not talking about injuries. We're talking about now, because they could all come back now.
And the player that's on loan as well.
So who's that? Oh,
Method Panos, isn't it?
But he's not in the club, so let's not add him for now. But okay, that's a good point. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 centre backs. 7 centre backs on the books. At most 5. So you have to get rid of 2.
Yeah.
So who's the 2?
Holding and Chambers. Chambers is injury prone.
So you're selling Holding and selling Chambers, and then Go on.
You said get rid of 2. Get rid of 2.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, if I was a manager, I'd think, well, Chambers is always injured. Bless him. I love Chambers, but he's always injured. It can't be helped. So it's sad, but he's always injured all the time. So you would think you wouldn't want him there. You'd want to move him on.
Yeah.
And I've got to choose out of Holding and Mustafi, and who I think's the better centre back. And I think Mustafi's better.
The only
But
thing
in English terms as well, though, with the rules and regulation, to keep Chambers and Holding, which are two homegrown players, English, you're then basically not getting an FFP penalty. If you get rid of Mustafi and Socrates, who are not homegrown and not English players, you're then making it your books look even better with having two English centre-backs there. Plus Kieran Tierney, who's British, Saka, and so on. You've got to have a maximum, I think it's 6 or 7 homegrown players. Not to mention Emil Smith-Rowe, Reese Nelson. You've got Ballard. This is what they take into consideration now. This is what's going to kick in.
So the reason why we're getting rid of Mustafi, the reason why we're going to get rid of Mustafi is because of the homegrown players then.
Well, it's like that, but it's good business. Socrates is down to what is near enough gone anyway. We're getting him for compensation.
I'm not a fan
Mustafi's got 1 year left. Just get whatever you can for him and move him on. I'm not saying he's a bad centre-back. He's not. Under Wenger, he wasn't used right, in my opinion. Under Emery, he wasn't used right with playing out from the back. But under Arteta, we have kind of seen a little bit of a change. But he's not going to be a centre-back that's going to push Arsenal on in the future. And when you've got David Luiz there, Gabriel, who's an absolute monster, brilliant at the minute, Saliba as well, who's classed as homegrown because we lent him out on loan. Then you've got Pablo Mari, who can come in. That's brilliant. And then you've still got the guy that's gone to Germany on loan.
Mastropanov, who, if I'm honest, they're probably looking to try and cash in him in after, because he signed a new contract before he left, didn't he? So that's
they probably will.
That reeks of trying to get some money.
Maybe I'm just looking at it from a football point of view, then, and not from any other point of view. That's what.
All right, interesting discussion. That's what we're here for.
To be continued in the WhatsApp.
No, it never continues in there.
No.
Oh, yeah, loan signings. Arsenal could potentially be loaning out the likes of Joe Willock, Reese Nelson, and Emil Smith-Rowe. This sparked a little bit of, I don't know, indifference. There was quite a few people that said, "Oh, this would be good for them." But then there was quite a few people that said Emil Smith-Rowe should be going out on loan, Reese Nelson should be going out on loan, only Joe Willock. Out of the three, Simon, who do you think should be going out on loan out of them three?
All of them, to be honest. Especially Joe Willock. Joe Willock needs to go somewhere. Still Premier League. I think he still needs to go somewhere Premier League, but he needs to be playing week in and week out. Says somewhere like Newcastle, playing week in and week out. And then you get Reese Nelson. Well, you've got Willian and you've got Pepe on that right side fighting. Nelson, bless him, is not going to get a bloody chance to get anywhere near them two. And then basically he needs to go out somewhere as well. That's still a tougher league for him to basically kick on in his career. And then what it basically is, right, you know what? We'll send Reese out on loan again. Hope he has a full season and kicks on. Then we'll make our judgment if you're part of Arteta's squad or we'll just try and cash in on you. I think that's how they're going to look at it. Emil Smith-Rowe did fantastic at Huddersfield. I've spoken to 2 Huddersfield fans on Twitter and they miss him. They absolutely miss him. They want him back. They've even, 2 guys have actually written letters to Huddersfield and asking for the guy to come back on loan. Honestly, the fans really took to him. They really did.
And Reese, and who's the other one? Reese Nelson. You've done Reese Nelson, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done Reese Nelson. Yeah.
So Jerome, who would you be loaning out of the 3? All 3 of them? One of them? 2 of them?
It's so hard, and one of the reasons it's hard is because of the Europa League. Because there's going to be games where you might want to rest the first team players, and these boys would probably be in the starting 11 for those games. So it's really tricky. I don't know. One minute I'm thinking one thing, the next minute I'm thinking another. I think Willock, we don't really know what Willock is. Is he a? I
agree.
Maybe going on loan and just him playing football for a year will probably do him well. But the trouble is when you send these players out on loan, like with Eddie and Nketiah, there's no guarantee they're going to be playing every week. You can't really say to a club, I'm sending him on loan and he's got to be in the starting 11 every week. So
I mean, that'll be one of the. Like they would have made a point of when they're speaking to a club, how much are you looking to use this player?
Yeah. The thing is, they can say that, but when the player trains with that team and then plays a game for that team in a competitive match, that might all of a sudden change.
Mm-hmm.
Reese Nelson, I think it's going to be very hard for Reese Nelson and Emil Smith-Rowe to get any minutes, definitely in the Premier League, especially now with the addition of Willian on the right hand side. Because I think he looks a lot better than Pepe, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. I can see Steve was saying, it's a tough one with what to do with them.
Steve, who are you sending out on loan, if any, or 2, 3, 1?
It's tough, isn't it, Steve?
I mean, hopefully we're going to have a lot of games to play. We're going to have FA Cup games. We're going to have League Cup games. We're going to have Europa League games. We're going to have injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of them should go out. I think we've brought Emil Smith back. Got him back from Huddersfield. What, to send him back to Huddersfield again?
No, but if you're talking about loaning to any of these players, then surely you've got to be loaning in the Premier League clubs.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I see in the paper I read today Huddersfield. He was going to go back to Huddersfield, but which don't make any sense.
That's the point.
Exactly.
Can I just add one thing? Absolutely. Can I just add one thing? Is it with Arteta, because he's got such a specific way of playing? Would it not be better for these boys, because they're probably not on massive wages, just to stay with the first team, train with Arteta every day, learn sort of how Arteta wants them to play, rather than sending to a team where they're going to play totally different football with all different tactics.
These are all.
But they are going to be wasted though as well. They are going to be wasted because they're not getting Premier League games. They might get in Europa League games, some of them, but not consistent. They need to be playing week in and week out, not tiring them out, but just for experience. And if you're talking about Partey and Aouar, if they happen, there you go. That's 2 more midfielders. You've still got Xhaka there. You've still got El Neni, who now fans want to keep. And I want to keep El Neni because I think he's fantastic as a squad player. You've got Guendouzi that's still there. And then you're going into your Smith-Rowes. Then you've got Ozil that's still there as well. So this is what I mean. It's like you can't have Emil Smith-Rowe stay when Ozil is here and possibly Aouar.
Ozil's not going to play for Arsenal.
Ozil's not going to play again.
He's not going to play for Arsenal.
No, he's not going to play again.
That won't matter. If I'm honest, Guendouzi's in the squad or not, he shouldn't be playing.
Do you know the first thing I thought of when I see about these 3 going out on loan again and not being part of Arsenal like the coming season? First thing that comes to me was what we was talking about last week. We was talking about Phil Foden and how Pep doesn't seem to want to play the young players. And I wondered if Arteta's got that same kind of thing in his head, because he ain't doing it. He's not giving. He seems to be building a team of men, which is what we want. A team of men, footballers, for the here and for the now and for the next 2 years, and that team's gradually taking shape as you look at it.
Yeah,
I hope I'm wrong.
But it's up to these boys as such to step up like men and take the men's spot, because people like Saka, his talent. There's nothing stopping him from taking the spot of someone else in that squad. He's not far off it. He's not better than Willian. He's not better than Aubameyang. He's not better than these. But these can teach him to be to that standard. They can, and he can go and progress on better than players in these positions.
Yeah. But if you notice, Saka hasn't played recently.
Saka hasn't played. But Saka played a shed load of games last season. Far too many games for an 18-year-old. I think far too many games. I think Arteta's seen that. Yeah, and then
he's dropping him out.
Yeah, and then remember when he went to give him a rest, and then Kolasinac got injured in that game about 10 minutes in, so he had to then come back in and cover for Fiorentina again, and he didn't have a rest. So I wouldn't pay too much mind with Saka especially, because we know how much he's loved there. Personally, from the noises that you hear about, Arteta doesn't even want to loan out Reese Nelson, and he probably doesn't want to loan out Emil Smith-Rowe. If you're talking about game time, it's how many games are these guys going to get in a season of, say, 50 games, 60 games? How many games are these boys going to get full games? We're not talking about some appearances. We're talking about starting, and that's where it's important.
If someone was to tell you the amount of games they were going to be getting at the beginning, now we knew that, then it would be an easier question to answer, wouldn't it?
Of course, it'd be an easier question to answer, but
so we don't know, do we?
No, but. Okay, but then we're talking about youth team players. We could break it down quite easily, because is he going to get more games than Xhaka? No, he's not. Is he going to get more games than Danny Ceballos? No, he's not. Is he going to get more games than any of the two players they're looking to bring in? No, they're not. So that narrows that down to what? 15 games a season. And that's not good enough for players that are in their key years of development. Key years of development. How often do we speak about key years of development?
We do need that 23-player squad. And it has to be looked at.
Right now, it's like 35.
There's 32 players now at Arsenal. We need to trim it down time.
It's too much. And I'd rather keep someone like Emil Smith-Rowe and loan out Joe Willock, because Joe Willock's been with the team for the past 3 years now. And as Jerome said, I don't know what position is his actual position. He seems to be an attacking midfielder that does a bit more box-to-boxy stuff because his work rate's good. But is that what he came through the ranks as? I'm sure when he was in the under-23s, he would be ripping it up to even be in the first team. So I think he needs an identity. He needs to go to a club, a Premier League club, because he knows he can play Premier League, and he needs to play consistently. Boom. That's where you see whether he can do it or not. And for me, Joe Willock's if he does it, you keep him. If he doesn't, for your standard, you sell him. That's my opinion. Reese Nelson and Emil Smith-Rowe, I think, have more of a future, because I know the positions and I know the way they play. Personally, I think
Reese Nelson's going to find it hard because of the position he plays in at the moment.
Exactly.
Because of all the players over that side.
Of course.
And then you've got to ask yourself, who are you on the bench? You've got three midfielders. You've got to have three midfielders to replace. And who are those three midfielders that will be squad players to replace the three starters?
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean,
we didn't really answer that question, did we? At all?
We've just gone around in circles.
We just bickered.
Hey, families don't bicker, mate. It's just passionate chatting.
That's it.
All right.
Just scratching each other's Christmas list up and going, I'm not talking to him again.
Man City are not interested in Hosemawa. If I see another message with Man City in for him, I'm going to block you. It's really getting annoying. I said it 25 times. I posted it twice, and then someone posted, Sam Lee's just said that Man City are not interested in Hosemawa. Where the hell do you think we got our information from? We told you that multiple times. And then you're going to send me, Sam Lee just said they're not interested, so they're not. I told you that 2 weeks ago. Don't come to me and tell me this stuff. I told you. Man City are not interested in Hosemawa. Juventus ain't got no money. Arsenal are the only ones that put an offer in. All right, next. Wolves.
I've heard City are going to come in with an offer, though.
Well, I wouldn't even do that. Your inbox is now full.
Have you got any party news, please? Can I?
Hey, no, we'll leave that to the end. Why would you do that, Steve? I know what it is. I know what it is. It's because I was just about to speak. I'm just about to speak about another team. So you thought you'd do like the Twitter version. Wolves.
Yes.
Any party news?
Yes.
No. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Our. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Our party update. That's how you not speak to me. I'm not going to respond to you. Seriously, I'm not going to. All right, Walter.
Just stop, please, because we hear it in WhatsApp group. Please just stop.
Walter made approach for Gremio winger Pepe, according to Brazilian outlet UAO. Oh, Everton have made are interested in him as well. Jerome, you had a little look at him, didn't you?
Yeah. Brazilian winger, 23. He reminds me a little bit of Everton's winger they've currently got, Bernard.
Yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of him. He doesn't strike me as being like one of these elite wingers. But for the last few seasons, every season he has progressed. His numbers have got better every season.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're watching these players play, he plays for Grêmio in Brazil. The pitches in Brazil are shocking. They are so bad. He's played a few times for the Brazil under-23 team. He scored 3 goals in 6 appearances for them. Not blistering pace like Bernard. Got skill, not a bad finisher. He didn't. I haven't been massively impressed when I saw him, but as I say, he's progressed every year, so you never know. Could be a slow burner.
Slow burner, a bit like that. Oscar, he's a slow burner. Sometimes, if he's a slow burner in Brazil, I mean, he's going to be a bit of a slow burner in England.
Yeah.
I wouldn't risk it. Aaron said about Everton preparing a 40 million bid for Wilfried Zaha. Leicester have agreed terms with Napoli midfielder Adam Unas. Now, when Steve told me this guy earlier on this week, it took me about 5 minutes to work out his name because Steve's telling me down the phone, Unas, and I'm typing in UN, all sorts of stuff. Couldn't find it. Had to go through Napoli's squad, managed to find him. Is there any more on that, Steve?
No, nothing, mate. From Leicester's point of view on Adam Unas, there's a few other bits and pieces on Leicester, but they still want this guy.
So what was the initial problem? Napoli's valuation and Leicester's valuation, wasn't it?
Oh, but yeah, there was the two totally. I mean, Leicester seem to be playing this I ain't got no money, I'm skint game. It seems to be with every single transfer that they're going into at the moment. And Napoli are hard enough to deal with at the best times.
No.
So I would, if I was, their sporting director, I would have sussed that out from the beginning, and because they're going to have nothing but ag there from day one. They'll probably be having pitchforks and voodoo dolls and everything, sort of like. But there's other Leicester news. I mean, Barcelona are desperate. I can't believe this guy is still at Barcelona and no one's taken him yet. But Barcelona are still desperate to sell Jean-Claire Todibo.
Oh.
Yep. Both Everton and Leicester.
So why don't someone just take him?
I don't know. Well,
he's cheap, isn't he?
They're desperate to get rid of him. Well, yeah. He literally took the words out, the last bit of the thing, which you're spot on. The Everton and Leicester have both put bids in. They've both been rejected. And Barcelona want €25 million. So, going by their valuation, I don't think that's a bad price at all for this player. I think Jerome did a profile on him. Was it a couple of weeks ago, Jerome?
Yeah.
You did one on him. And Jerome, I think he lacks miracle about him. I mean, he's a top centre half. So just pay the 25 million. And Leicester are desperate for centre halves. The biggest one and the closest one that they are to getting is Wesley Fofana. He's begging. He's begging to leave the club. Literally begging. He should put a transfer request in and just be done with it. In an interview in France, he couldn't have made it any clearer. The two clubs are just they're continuing to talk, and it's even fueled even more because the squad numbers for Chilwell hasn't been filled for the coming season, and they've obviously everybody at Leicester is now assuming that that's going to be Wesley Fofana's number. But they are talking and that close, and that could be done. The other one's Jan Tarkowski, and that's a fight between West Ham and Leicester.
So are they? Sorry, are they? Does that mean they're selling Sionchu then? Because you bringing in James
Johnny Evans.
Oh, Johnny Evans is going.
They've got Johnny Evans and Morgan, don't they? He's a bit of an upgrade on them.
Yeah, I mean, I know Leicester are going to be fighting on many different fronts, but Wesley Fofana, James Tarkowski, and Sionchu, that's a serious. They go for
I personally think that they've obviously tested the water with both. I don't think Jen Tarkowski. I think it's just it's
going to be too much.
They want 50. Yeah, I think Wesley Fofana is the one that's looking the more likely to happen. And this is the one the Leicester fans are getting more excited by. This is the one who I talked to, a guy in Leicester. He's the one that this is the guy that they think is more likely to sign. Because the fees are secret as well at the moment for Fofana, but it's certainly not going to be like 50,000.
No, yeah. All right, good work there, Steve. Chelsea have rejected the bid for N'Golo Kante from Inter Milan. Daniel Ballard is set to go on a season loan to Blackpool.
Let's try that again.
I don't even know why I'm laughing. Wolves have completed the signing of Porto wonder kid Fabio Silva. Jerome, tell us about Fabio Silva. He's a top player. Seriously.
Yeah, this is a wonder
kid.
Quick,
please.
This is Porto's youngest ever player and youngest ever goal scorer. How Wolves have managed to pull this off is unbelievable.
35 mil. People were saying, is it a risk? 35 mil.
Porto Wolves.
Jerome.
Jerome, go on. Nah. This guy is tipped to be one of the best strikers in the world. I'm not just throwing that around. Like, people think he's like the next big thing. A typical number 9, like just does all his best work sort of centrally, whether that be a little bit deeper where he can support the midfield, or whether it's just purely just finishing. He's actually so unselfish for someone so young. Even if he's in a great position to score, if someone's in a better position, he'll give them the ball. Like proper unselfish team player. For the under-19s, a couple of seasons ago, he scored 33 and 39. He's just an unbelievable goal scorer, a quality player, and looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League, to be honest.
Yeah. No, does that mean? Do you think that means Jimenez is could be on? Does he play the same? Will they play 2 up front?
I think it will be. This will be.
Remember, he's still young. He's only.
Yeah, I think he will. I think it'll be Jimenez will be the main man. This guy will come in and start learning his trade under Jimenez. And then once they sell Jimenez, it'll be him in.
Yeah.
He's. I think sometimes I worry about some Portuguese players when they come over to the Premier League, and are they the right fit to the Premier League? I think this is a kid who, if he can benefit from the Premier League, honestly, you're talking about a world star because he has everything you need to be as Jerome said,
and he's got the right manager.
To
be under.
Yeah, he's a serious player. I'm really excited about seeing this one.
He's not going anywhere either, the manager, because he's just signed, hasn't he?
I was just signed. Golden Boy Award nominee as well, Fabio Silva.
Nice.
Keep an eye out. Emi Martinez is signed for Aston Villa, £20 million deal. 16 million up front, I think it is. The rest over the next 4 years of his deal. Good luck, Emi. I mean, probably the best thing for you. If you're going to be sitting on the bench, if the manager's made a decision to go with Leno first, you cannot. It would not be right for him to go and sit on the bench again. No. I wouldn't do it. I don't know any keeper out there that would do that after they've made it clear that they're ready for first team football.
I must admit though as well, I'm actually quite annoyed with our fan base though for this with Martinez, because they're all making it out like they don't want him to go and they want him to sign a new deal and stay and challenge Leno. Well, when Petr Cech came in, he came in for 5 games that season, Martinez, and he made 2 mistakes, and everyone basically went straight for his head and wanted him out for Petr Cech. So everyone basically, not all our fan base, but some of our fan base are like, it's wrong. What are Arsenal doing? This is pathetic. Oh, my manager's not like this. And it's like, you didn't care about him.
No, I think
2 years ago. Don't pretend to care about him now.
I think this Emi is a different Emi though. Like this Emi Martinez is a different Emi Martinez. Like if you talk about the Emi Martinez that came in goal against was it Reading and we won 5-3 or something like that. That Emi Martinez was an Emi Martinez that had been down the gym too much, bulked up too heavy, got wham and couldn't lift his feet 2 inches off the floor. This is a different Emi Martinez. He's changed his mentality. He's changed it. It's a completely different persona, and you can tell that from when he first came on the pitch, when he first came back in. It's a completely different player.
Yeah, I'm gutted. I'm gutted. I think he's going.
I do wish him all the best. I do wish him all the best, but I'm not going to sit here and say, please stay while you're leaving, because I never knew he was this good. But nobody else did.
I want 2 guys. I don't care if Emi Martinez goes and kills my aunt's cat. As long as he keeps the ball out of the net. I really couldn't care less about what he's done and what he ain't done. But the fact is, all I want is the best for Arsenal. And I would have loved 2 fantastic goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Fighting it out for the number 1 position and being happy. But obviously, he's been told by someone or other that you're not even going to your League Cup or FA Cup. And that's that. And
you can't, as a goalkeeper yourself, if you've come in and done what he's done since he took over from Leno, can you, as a player, say that you're happy to fight for your spot and be a League Cup game and FA Cup game until then?
He's not a number 2 goalkeeper.
He's not. And those were the comments that I kept saying, he should stay and just be FA Cup. And then once he gets his shot, he's done that for 10 years. And he wants to do it again. Sign a contract to do it again.
I'm an Arsenal fan, and I'm selfish. I want him to stay.
Yeah, of course. We want him to stay. But for him,
because I want
him himself.
But for him, if he was my son, I'd be going, get out.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
So,
exactly. And what would you be doing?
Exactly.
You'd be going to Aston Villa, wouldn't you? This is what I mean. So good luck. Kenny Tate has just signed for Fulham from Lyon on a 4-year deal. Jerome is another player you had a little look at. A couple of people are saying it was a good signing. Maybe they've been playing FIFA or Football Manager. I don't know. What's he saying?
Yeah, well, he only cost them a few £1 million, and he's got 13 appearances for Holland. When he was at Lyon, he made cameos against Juventus and City. He wasn't really like a sort of a main starter for them. So he's got a bit of a point to prove, I'd say. The way he runs and when he's on the ball, he reminds me a little bit of Francis Coquelin. When you watch clips of him, have a look at him, and you can see a bit of Francis Coquelin in him. Mm-hmm. He's not the most adventurous of fullbacks. He's a right back that will be defending, and as he's going to be at Fulham, obviously
be a busy boy.
He's going to have a lot of defending to do. He probably won't cross the halfway line. But he's sort of a full-blooded style, goes in very hard when he tackles. Sort of one of those right backs or defenders that wants to defend. Good timing of his tackles. And you got to say, for a few £1 million, it's not much of a risk, really.
Yeah, it's not. I think they got him on a £3 million deal, and then I think it's after 2 seasons they've got to pay a further £1 million or something ridiculous like that. I think they got him a really good deal.
Yeah.
Chelsea's Michy Batshuayi has gone on another season long as Crystal Palace, and his response was, "I feel like I'm at home." Got to be happy with that. Liverpool update from Steve. Oh, this sounds ominous.
This is pretty interesting. Let's hear your 3 go. Oh yeah, I knew all that anyway. So about you. Paston Decker, Salzburg. He wants to stay until January. There's been a lot of links towards Liverpool, but they're still favourites. Spurs are still interested in. Jose Mourinho likes him, but the interest to Patson Decker I think we spoke about, didn't we, on Salzburg when Liverpool went to
Oh
go
yeah,
and play
so
that friendly that time.
So
that proved to be true.
yeah, so we got a bit of information from Steve, basically saying that Liverpool had set up a friendly with Salzburg with the intention of scouting a player. Obviously, it was pre-season friendly as well, but it was to scout a player. We was to work out who it was. We narrowed it down to Dominic Sabazzi and Patson Daka.
I only remembered that then when I just said that last time. So I would have forgotten about it. Then there's the little bit of a saga with Gini Wijnaldum. I think it's pretty common now that everybody knows that he's now in talks with Liverpool for a new contract. He doesn't want to go to Barcelona. But what was the thing about this? Barcelona have come back and reacted and said that he's glad that Wijnaldum's having talks to Liverpool because they didn't want him anyway. So that was from the Barcelona president, who was a bit
that
of a
old chestnut,
as it is. Yeah, but that's exactly what he said. I'm glad they're having talks, but we didn't want him anyway. So that
seems to be a Klopp move there. What are Liverpool going to do about this? Like $5 million that they need to gather up to get Alcantara.
Well, there's with Alcantara, the latest that's on him is that Uli Younes, who's the former Bayern Munich president, has came out and said that we've offered Alcantara a very good 4-year contract. But he changed his mind at the last minute. This was literally 24 hours ago. He told us that in the offices that he wanted a new challenge, and the Uli Younes turned around and said that he's probably already signed for Liverpool. So it sounds like he had the right ump by saying that. But yeah. So they've offered him a contract, 4-year contract. He changed his mind last minute. He said to the Bayern Munich, he wants a new challenge, and the Uli Younes said the Bayern Munich ex-president said that he's probably already signed for Liverpool.
Well, they've still got to pay the money.
It's pretty damning.
And if anyone thinks, well, Man United were mentioned though, they've said they're in for him. United, I've got on very good authority that Man United have contacted Thiago's agent, but they've never contacted Bayern Munich. And when they were told 30 million euros for Thiago, they turned away from the deal and signed Donny van de Beek instead.
Yeah, but that's right, because Holdis actually did say as well that he's already agreed to sign probably for Liverpool and Man United. So he's obviously got that from there, and Simon's obviously added his bit to it. So watch this space.
Anyone on Patson Daka? So as you said, Tottenham are in for him, Liverpool are in for him, and Arsenal are looking at him as well.
There's the goalkeeper, Marcelo Pelugo, the Fluminense keeper. That's almost done. Just a couple of £1 million. Liverpool.
Oh yeah. All right.
That looks, Jeremy Doku.
They're going back in for him.
Well, it's not the matter that they've come back in for him. Anderlecht have now come out and said if Liverpool came back in now with a better offer than they did before, then they would have to consider selling. I've been told that Liverpool are planning to offer 25 mil. So that's where we are. But that's the Anderlecht chairman's.
That's got to be Rhea and Brewster gone, isn't it? That's Rhea and Brewster done out. That's Rhea and Brewster done.
Well, this is why probably like he's being so coy, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, because he wants 25 for 25.
In his interviews, interviews, he's like not making a lot of sense. He wouldn't be a very good negotiator, would he, Klopp? Do you know what I mean? Because no one knows what he's talking about after. Mind you, maybe he would make a good negotiator because no one knows what he's talking about.
Jerome, you looked at Patson Daka, who's of interest of Liverpool, Tottenham, and Arsenal.
Yeah. He's had last season. He had an amazing season, goal scoring wise. He's 21, striker from Zambia. Made his Zambia debut when he was only 16. He scored 24 goals in 31 games last season. And he's one of these all-action centre forwards where he doesn't give defenders like a minute's peace. He'd be an absolute nightmare to play against. Up until last season, his goal scoring record wasn't that great, but at that time they also had Erling Haaland in the team. He was their main striker. So that is what you call competition for places. Also his agent is. I think I saw that his agent is Freddie Canute. So obviously Canute's got connections to the Premier League. So maybe he could help him sort of get a move to the Premier League.
Maybe not this in the summer, but maybe in the next summer or in the January transfer window.
I would say his technique doesn't seem the cleanest and the best, but I think he makes up for that. Just with just the way he goes about things, really. His
work rate and
But Daka did come out, and it's funny you said that he actually did come out and say he only wants to stay at Salzburg until January. So maybe there's something set in place.
Yeah, maybe. Jerome, you also looked at Chelsea's new goalkeeper Edouard Mendy as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So this is I'd say another sort of a late bloomer. He's 28 years old. He's 6'6". He's absolutely humongous, and so because of the size, obviously crosses, corners, that sort of his strength.
Command of area, which is what Chelsea need.
Yeah. Now, what isn't his strength is the way the game is going these days in terms of the goalkeepers having a lot of the ball at their feet. And cut sort of with his passing accuracy is terrible. And sort of he concedes a lot of goals where he'll come off his line and he'll come off his line outside the box and the attacker will sort of go around him and put it in an empty net. But he's got a very good sort of save percentage ratio, better than Kepa, a lot better than Kepa in terms of, they do this thing now, XG, like the amount of goals you're expected to concede. They do this. People work these out now. So he conceded fewer goals than he was expected to concede, whereas Kepa, he was expected to concede a certain amount of goals in the season, and he conceded 11 more goals than that. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. Yeah, he's obviously very, very imposing. You had eight caps for Senegal. But it's just the way the game is going these days, with the keepers having a lot of the ball at his feet, whether they'll get sort of caught out with that.
I don't know. Things go around in circles, and I think we can say the game's going that way, but if it's all about your team.
Yeah, if your team's playing that way, I suppose.
If your team doesn't play in that way, that's fine. Because if your goalkeeper's not a footballing goalkeeper, then you can't play football with him. You can do the odd one or two, but you're not. It's not going to be expansive like that. Otherwise, you get into trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
Chelsea considering loaning out Callum Hudson-Odoi. West Brom are in advanced talks with Troy Deeney. I'm probably signed up there now. Diadenga, we spoke about earlier, going to West Brom. They were not happy. Nottingham Forest have signed PSG centre-back Loic Emba. So, one of you guys did a golden boy on him. Well, he's gone to Nottingham Forest on a 4-year deal from PSG. He's a golden boy, award nominee. Man United keen on Monaco's Benoit Belechi. Simon, you speaking about this man, weren't you? The Monaco guy, Man United. I think you posted the other day, didn't you, Steve, about L'Equipe? Was saying that Man United were interested in him and they didn't want to spend a certain amount. Si, you sent me a message last night, basically saying that Man United were refusing to pay the money that Monaco want for him. Yeah,
they want to. What I've been told is that Man United want to negotiate it down towards 20 million euros, possibly even 15 million euros. So it's like, I don't know how good this centre back is. I don't watch Monaco, so I don't know how good he is. But his stats seem all right. He's on the same par as Sionku from Leicester. He's on the same par as him. I'd say that the Turkish centre back is a better centre back, but his stats don't lie. But with Man United, it's a bit weird with them because it's like they've spent the money with Donny van der Beek, and then they're still talking about Sancho and 120 million euros, and then you're on about this centre back that you're refusing to pay the money, and you've said no to Thiago as well because of the money. And we were told before the start of the window that they only had 70 million to spend. And you said it, and other people have said it as well. And it's kind of ringing true.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they had 150 million transfer budget. They brought forward some of that transfer budget to buy Bruno Fernandes. So that was brought forward. That wasn't last season's money. They brought that forward from this season, which is why it's impacted on being able to get Jaden Sancho so quickly. They didn't expect the COVID. That's hit them hard. And then potentially, as you said to me yesterday, they could be in a situation where they could only sign Donny van der Beek if they don't pull their finger out. You can't turn around and say you're willing to pay 100+ million for a winger, and then in the next breath, you're not willing to go up an extra 2 million to go and sign a centre-back, which you need. Is he really the centre-back that you want? How much do you want him? Like, these things, it's starting to get to that point now where you can't really mess around with bringing in players.
He's looking desperation because on the left-footed centre-back pyramid, basically, he's 5th choice in the world. Gabriel is up at 3rd, and then the one, is it what's his name?
Ruben Diaz.
He's top.
Yeah,
he's literally like top. He's top.
Man.
He's the nuts.
And then it's somebody else who's 2nd, but I think he's from, is it Atlanta? I think it's Atlanta. It begins with an A. It begins with an A. I've got Atlanta stuck in my head.
The guy at Atlanta centre half is the nuts. I can't forget his name though.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not a good choice centre back. Yeah. But it's like, well, we got turned down by Gabriel, and sorry, you did. We got turned down by Gabriel. So what we'll do is we'll just get this left foot centre back and hope it works. That's what it looks like to me.
I mean, Man United. I don't know, mate.
Their negotiating team is terrible.
They're not good negotiators, are they?
No, they're crap.
They're not good negotiators.
Very confusing.
Yeah, it is very confusing. The next one was Sergio Reguilon. He was another one which you were saying that Man United
refusing again.
Yeah, so that was on Fabrizio put that out yesterday.
Yeah, he backed it up as well.
And then you were saying that they're refusing to meet the price tag. It's a situation now where it's getting a bit tetchy. But they was also looking to they want to bring in a left back, but they're also willing to potentially bring in a right back and keep Brendan Williams out on the left. They're doing a lot of mixing and matching. And at the wrong end of the pitch as well. Like it could all end in disaster for Man United in that front. I think they just need to go out and get the players that they want and splash the cash in the right areas. Maybe spending 100+ million on Sancho this season isn't the right money. Arsenal have lined up Icelandic international goalkeeper Runa Alex Rumarsson of Dijon to replace Emi Martinez. Jerome, last pitch of the day.
Right. So it sort of came out of nowhere, this one.
What's his name again?
You're telling me.
Don't do this to me. I knew he was going to say that.
Alex Runarsson. Alex.
Oh, now. Runner.
Big L.
So he's 25 years old. He's 6'1". He's not even the first choice goalie for Dijon in France. He only played last season because their main goalie picked up a cruciate ligament injury. He makes a lot of saves with his feet. When you watch him play, he really throws himself around the goal when he's making saves.
I'll tell you what, props to Jerome for watching all these players.
How he's found any footage on a runner Aaron Gunnarsson, second goalkeeper for Dijon, mate? I tell you what, he's also pay rise.
He's the second choice for Iceland, and Iceland's first choice goalkeeper, who I'm sure people
doesn't have a team.
He's the definition of a football journeyman. He's had about 18 clubs in 12 years. He's a part-time farmer.
It's giving him an headache.
At least you buy some sausages off the gazer at half time, can't you?
The trouble is,
this can't be true. This can't be true, can it? This can't be true.
Emi Martinez has been so good that for Arsenal fans, they're always going to compare the new second choice to Emi, which is 100% wrong, because you can't compare him to Martinez, because Martinez is a first choice goalie, so you can't compare this guy.
Got Farmer Giles.
And always
we've got the goalkeeper that's in Sabutio. That's what we've got.
Yeah. Buying a number two is always difficult, isn't it? Because everyone wants to be a number one.
How long did it take us to buy to get in a number two? We didn't. We bought him 10 years ago, and he's just a number two now. But he's too good to be a number two. He's now a number one. Our previous number two, David Ospina, was too good enough to be a number two, but not good enough to be our number one. And before that, our number two became our number one. He was so shit. He should never have been our number one, Emmanuel Almunia.
Yeah. Leno sat there like this.
The only decent number two that we've got, we're selling.
Yeah.
It's all good for the cause. It's all good for the cause.
What a day. Yeah. Oh, just a little last one, little update on Thomas Partey and Jose Mora. No update. That'd be well harsh, wouldn't it? That'd be well harsh. No. Basically, Thomas Partey, the situation is still the same. Players out. There's no change in the situation.
Just 2 seconds, just quickly, go quickly. Leeds ain't giving up on Josko Guevardo. Winger Miliot Reska, they're Leeds are from Werner Bremer, they're linked with him, and they're also after Florentina Luis.
Jerome, we'll do Josko Guevardo next week. Is that all right?
Okay, spot on. Yeah,
sweet, because hopefully by then the deal's sort of tying up at the other end. Hossim Aouar, situation is good from what we've heard at Arsenal. I would be giving you updates from the updates that I'm getting, but there's no point in giving you updates which are just telling me that the progression in the meetings are going well. There's no point in me going individually through each person to say that, and there's definitely no point in posting that, because you lot would lose your fucking mind if I posted the meeting's going well. Would you ask me for more updates on how the meeting went well? Is there a chance that they may accept the deal? Look, let's break it down on logical things, yeah? Please, you've got to think logical, people, sometimes before you type and press submit and press send or reply, yeah? If Arsenal are in talks with Lyon over a deal, if they're talking about structuring a deal, and we've said that potentially the bid that's going to go in is a £15.5 million bid, and they're talking about structuring a deal, to ask me if they're going to accept the bid after that is a kind of a nonsense thing to ask. Seriously, because they wouldn't be talking about structuring a deal if they weren't happy with the initial price. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're asking for updates on things that, if you had a little think and stop panicking, people, you'd work out yourself. Situation's good. Hopefully we'll hear something, I say soon, but I'm scared to say soon. Because you're going to, by the end of this, when I press end broadcast, I'm going to get a message saying, you said soon. How soon? Does that mean from tomorrow? Does that mean from tomorrow? Does that mean from tonight? Or does that mean from next week tomorrow? So I'm going to say, hopefully, for the next few days, we'll have an update to tell you some information that's worth telling you. Because I get information. I'm not going to tell everyone, because there's no point. There's no point. And I'm not going to go through individuals, so please don't ask. The update that's worth telling you guys, I will 100% tell you. When there's actual movement. No preparations. No gonna do it. No, this is in a good place. No changing it from a 9.5 to a 10 or a 7.5 to a 8.5. No. Why are you getting nervous about our? Why? There's a month left of the normal transfer window. So why are you getting? People were nervous and annoyed with Arsenal's transfer business 3 days into the window. If you keep on looking at the clock, it goes slow. If you pop the toast in the toaster and look at the toaster, it's going to take ages for that toast to toast. Stop doing it, people. If you constantly look at the Twitter looking for information on Hossein Mawar and Thomas Partey, you are going to lose your mind because you're going to look for things that are going to contradict it. You're going to ask someone a question. They're going to tell you the answer, what they fully believe is the answer. Then you're going to go and look somewhere else and you're going to pull that information to them and show them that information. You go, look what they just said on this. You're going to look at that page and it's going to be run by some kid's granny with 4 followers and he's called himself Reese Nelson's dog's arm. Don't come to me with them sorts of pages asking me what's going on. Yeah? Relax, people. Yeah? Just relax.
And what else as well can I actually add? I put a post up about Sergio Romero possibly going to Everton. And someone put in any hour news over it. And then I had about 10. But then, is there any more news? And then I had 10 Everton people DMing me saying, are we going in for hour? So please don't do that to me.
I'm still getting messages saying it's a bio signing.
Is Everton fans getting all got excited? What's happening? We buy an hour. What's going on? What's going? Someone's put well, is there anything happening with it underneath Sergio Romero staying at Man United? You know,
we are only having a laugh though. We're not taking the mick out here. We're just having a laugh. If we took it serious, we'd be like this in a padded cell.
No, look. I know.
I did think it was funny.
No, look. I completely understand that everyone wants these things to happen, but like you got to relax, people. You got to relax. Every day, every post, just relax. When we've got news, you will hear about it. Trust me. I know you boys have got your notifications on, so you'll know. All right. Thank you very much for joining.
Anything to do with Arsenal, just DM Kieran and Simon.
Don't even think about it. You can't even get into my DMs. I've got a chastity belt on just for my DMs. Yeah? You ain't getting through this. 4 inches of thick steel. Bet you're just wondering where I was going with that, ladies. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining this week. Let's get it through. H4S, Realist 999. They're always every week. Goodwin. It wouldn't be a good show without you, mate. Ethan Manners, thank you very much. That's the Arsenal Republic. Thank you very much for joining us. You boys have been having a big old conversation. Absolutely love that. Gassing me up. Hass and Realist, you need to get a room. Gunner 0007 Raven. That's pretty arse. Harvey Murphy. But I mean, if you're not used to what I'm an arsehole, so like, just get used to it. Top one. You're not. You got to change that name, bro. You're not punching Chester United. I can't ever get that. Thank you very much. Always turns into an Arsenal edition. We try not to be. But you guys are asking the questions. I can't help it. That's where we get the information. But don't forget, it's also Liverpool, Leeds, and Leicester as well. Got a lot of love in there as well. And Man City. Don't forget Man City. We broke the exclusive on David Alaba for Man City. Remember that. Here first. Get about. No, I'm only joking. He's a good guy. Odson Edward. I'm actually told from a couple of people there's nothing really in it. Just interest. You know, one of them just interest. Nothing solid. Nothing. No bids. Nothing. And I've heard that from two people. And one of them said basically, if anything's going on in Scotland, I know about it. So there's nothing solid on that. And plus, Laka, it's all dependent on Laka staying. I don't think he's going to be going anyway. Thank you very much, people. Start at the top. Thank you very much, Simon Powell, the chef. Boom, boom, boom. Down the bottom left is Chief Scout Steve Powell. Steve Powell, bloody hell. Oh, Gareth Lewis. Gareth Lewis is my boy, Gareth. Thank you very much. Bottom left, Chief Scout is Steve K.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. And thanks to Roshane for coming on.
I was going to get there. All right. We'll have a chat after this. It's all right. I'm smiling, but I'm angry inside. So I was trying to take my hosting spot. Never. Bottom right. I swear, I'll tell you what, yeah. Rumour has it, when Jerome does his, like, player breakdown things, butterflies make love. Yeah, rumor has it we're trying to keep the numbers down in the NHS, yeah, but the maternity room is chock-a-block just when Jerome speaks. Jesus Christ Almighty, mate, loving your segments, Jerome. That's why you're getting so many. It's just going to be a show of you soon. You know what I mean? Just talking about players. Love it. Thank you very much, Jerome.
Nice one.
And of
Cheers,
course.
everyone.
Thank you very much for everyone in the comment section. Thank you very much to Watch Tonight. And, of course, our superstar guest, Roshane Thomas of The Athletic, West Ham correspondent. Hopefully, we've done you justice, West Ham fans. Next week, we've got 2 teams. I don't know who it's going to be. But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a busy one because, transfer window and all that. Thank you very much. Peace out. Stay safe. Sorry about such a long show again, boys. Wash your hands.